Alright, I get bowl loaded up. Drink crack, snack crack pops. Boom. You know what? I'll do this real quick. Boom. There we go. There we go. Now we got that figured out. I'll get a little bowl going up and all that shit. Yada yada. Just gonna take this off. Oh, fucker. Oh. There we go. Out you go. Come on. Motherfucker. Oh my god. What a bitch. What a bitch. Okay, there we go. Now I finally got it out. Yeah, there we go. Jesus. There it is. What else things set aside? Let's get this going. And all that shenanigans. And get random thoughts of today. Because shit. Honestly, was not expecting my day to be what it is today. Or last night either, but whatever. Last night was something, that's for sure. Oh boy, the story to tell is no show cheery. Especially being on like about cops and about fucking obvious substantive issues that people have and stuff and all that shit. And more scuttlebutt for work too, even though I wasn't working today. I already found out about shit like that. Again, there's always more, shit happening today. Always new shit. So, can't really be too surprised, but it's just like, motherfuck, bro. Ugh. I'm like, when I go out, it seems like there's always some new shit that drops in to like get to learn about. I'm like, well, this is fucking great. Oh, lovely. Figured really still the work stuff, get it out of the way first, since it's not really much information, but it's, pretty much confirmed that my department manager stepped down, but she hasn't left yet. So it's only it's literally now at this point a matter of time until she fucking leaves. So, oh well. Like, as far as I'm concerned, pretty much a lot of other people at that store are like, saying, fuck it, we're going to quit. So, I'm pretty sure like half of that store is going to be like fucking gone. Because I was talking to one of the guys I'm acquainted with at the meat counter. Just a little bit. There we go. And, he was just like, being like, our ops, and department manager are all like fucking strung out and fucking freaked out over a bunch of bullshit and getting yelled at. And I'm just, so it's really just been a reoccurring fucking bullshit thing going on lately. And I'm just definitely thinking I'm going to make sure a walkout happens at this rate. Just fuck them. If they're not going to at least treat us with like some basic ass fucking respect, then fuck them. That's what ends up happening. Especially when no one feels like they're actually being appreciated or respected at that fucking place. So I'm not really too surprised that it's starting to kind of get down to it. But I saw that writing on the wall. I mean, I saw it for a long time. I just was wondering what would be the catalyst, because I knew for at least a few years and shit, it was going to eventually be a thing, but I didn't think it'd be this quick. Damn, Sean, nice mullet. Funny enough, I don't even have a mullet. It's just kind of loosely tied back there. Which, speaking of, like I was mentioning the other day about maybe saying fuck it and just doing Papa More mullet status, because, I mean, shit, it pretty much is already there. So, I mean, it's like I just kind of loosely tied it up and just kind of said, it's my day off, fuck it. And I just kind of just let it just do whatever the hell it's doing back there. So, that's just kind of making me feel like confident in wanting to get one. So. So, I think I'll definitely, seriously, consider this. I've been for a while, but I think I might just one of these days. And then when someone says, "Hey, nice mullet," be like, "Thank you, sir," and it'll be actually there instead of be like, "Actually, it's not." But yeah, in this angle, it does look like just zoom in. At least that's what the view count says. I mean, if you've been on YouTube long enough, you kind of realize that view count's kind of bullshit. Like, I think it updates like every 1 minute or like 30 seconds or some shit. So I never ever trust that thing half the time. Plus, I know I usually have like my little, a niche crap, but a lot of them like to lurk until they decide they want to pop in and chat. So, I mean, all in all, I'm not really like, I never read that, to be honest, when it comes to view count. I might like look at it for like, maybe once every like 5 minutes or some shit and be like, let's go, people. Says there's one. But I never usually believe it, because there will be times where it'll say like one person or nobody here, even though just like obviously like a person or a couple people chatting. It's like, so I never trust that shit. I mean, honestly, I kind of wonder about like, the numbers when it comes to like view counts and shit like that anyway, just because it's like, I mean, I find it kind of a little odd in a way. Like, what does it like register? Does it register like a view as in like you click on the link, or is it like, and loads up the page and thus the video, or is it like a fucking, like you have to actually like watch a little bit of it first? But I don't know. YouTube's fucking weird like that. That's not life as painful as in a physical death. I mean, I'm sure like the process of dying is painful, but once you're dead, right? Like, I mean, so, I mean, yeah, I imagine like the process of dying would be, depending on how that happens, would be very fucking painful. I would imagine. Unless you just get, blopped in the head with a gun or some shit, then that'd be pretty instantaneous, you know what I mean? Like, so unless it's like some shit like that where you just don't know it, or one to Ocean Gate, Titan fucking subs or whatever, where you just pretty much implode in less than a neuron can respond to anything, in your brain, then you ain't gonna know shit. You won't even know it happened. So when the soul moves planes, I mean, no. I mean, because mainly we, don't really know if there's like, a multiple dimensional plane that we can traverse through like that. And for two, I mean, if what usually is, what causes pain is like the need of survivability and, and to kind of preserve your own, like, your own body, then there wouldn't be really a need for that. Like if, you somehow were, still a thing after death. So I don't really think there'd be a need for, mortal problems like pain, anguish, and, like sore back, shit like that. If anything, like, I mean, I'd probably be more like, what the fuck? Yeah, like, oh shit. I'd probably be more in awe at everything more than like, huh, I wonder if I can hurt myself as a spear. Oh, that actually did hurt. Like, I'd be more like, oh shit, bro. Look at all this stuff, bro. I mean, because, like, I'm an agnostic atheist, so, I mean, like, I'm pretty agnostic about shit like this, but, you know, when it comes to, like, you know, any man-made organized, like, belief system around it, I'm just like, you don't know the answer, come on. You know what I mean? Like, so, I mean, it's fun to speculate about, I guess, you know, like, because, you know, like, there is, you know, multiple dimensions and shit. We just, you know, can barely understand the fourth, and we understand the first three, and we theorize there's at least 11 or some shit. That's, you know, and like, you know, I think like at least, you know, 9 for sure on top of the 4 that we're aware of. So it's like, and we can't even begin to comprehend what the fuck those dimensions are like. So who knows? I mean, we're just, you know, not far enough away technologically, you know, to figure that shit out. You know, if it's, you know, a thing, or at least if it is, maybe it's something that we just, you know, completely different to what we thought. Because let's say there is, I mean, I kind of would think that it's mostly just like an energy, essentially. I mean, because all life, all things needs energy, you know, like inertia and shit, right? So I'd figure if there is any like spirit or soul kind of like, you know, in tandem with life, it would be that. Which, I mean, I guess a lot of belief systems and like, you know, like indigenous like belief systems, like in animism, especially, like a lot of it, you know, it kind of intertwines with that belief a little bit. So it's definitely fun to think about, but I just don't, you know, think it really matters too much. Just in a sense of like, well, you know, I guess I'll cross that path if there is a path for that, you know, kind of thing. But at the end of the day, I, you know, want to at least just maximize my own experience here and what we do know and what we are aware of, and just go with that. Makes the process of the dying part of things, you know, less painful. Once that time comes, which hopefully is in quite a long time, but maybe not too long. I think a good little like bow for me would be like 80 or something like that. Let me be like a grouchy 80-year-old and then just like take me out and back like old Yonder or whatever, you know what I mean? Like old Yeller. And once I get to be like 86 and just a grouchy old bastard, then you can take me out in the barn like old Yeller and, you know, call it good. All right, in the will. That it was allowed. So anyone that, you know, gets fucking, you know, paddy wagoned by a fucking cop or some shit, I'll be like, oh, hell no, sir. No, it was in the will. There was a contract, and they abided by the contract, sir. Like, this is a legal binding contract. Go fuck yourself. I don't give a damn what the law says. Doesn't the law, you know, say that it is illegal to forfeit and, you know, and fuck over, you know, one's contract? So, I think we're at an impasse here, sir. You know, I actually do kind of wonder, like, is there a legal precedent for that? Like, the idea of, like, hey, if, you know, like, my friend, you know, like, decides that you know, they're gonna, you know, kill me because I'm, like, paralyzed from the, you know, neck down or something from a car accident or some shit, and I've written in, like, my will as a contract, like, yeah, any of these people are, you know, allowed to end my life if, you know, these parameters, you know, happen or some shit. And they do. And they go out, you know, go with it. Like, would that be legally binding or some shit? Because I know there's a whole, like, yeah, pull the plug on me when you're in, like, in a coma or some shit kind of thing, you know, stuff like that. I get that part. But is there, like, you know, like some 38-year-old that has that in his will or some shit for his boys? You know what I mean? Like, would that be binding? You know what I mean? Like, because I wonder, like, because at least I know Harley has joked about that, you know, a little bit, being like, yep, if I'm an old man, you could just go ahead and just shoot me in the old, you know, like old Yeller. Because if I'm not old enough, you know, if I'm too old to ride a bike, like, you know, and go out, you know, on my terms like that, damn it, then do it for me. I'm just like, oh, okay. I don't know if that's legally binding there, sir. I don't think that is something that is allowed. So, because I'm pretty sure, like, the whole fundamental problem is that, there's a person killing a person. So, I imagine fundamentally that'd be the issue. Like, you wouldn't be able to do anything just because of that shit, which, understandable, because I feel like if that was the case, I feel like there would be a lot of people trying to justify their murders by fraudulating these wills and shit like that, saying, no, see, they were okay with it. There was a clause in the contract and in the will, bruh. So there probably would be a lot of that shit. So yeah, that probably would be a good idea. I also like this conversation because at any point during this topic, like, anyone popping in randomly is just gonna think, what the fuck is he talking about? Like, but in a funny way, because, like, I'm talking about, like, legal binding of, like, if I were to put in my will that my friend could shoot me if I, like, was paralyzed, or something, or in a coma or whatever the fuck, they can do that or some shit. Like, out of context, it sounds like, why do you want to know? But that's, also, that's kind of some of the fun of, doing these. Like, every now and then when someone pops in, they just hear shit like that out of context. They're just like, scroll. This guy's a freak. Because I swear that has happened a few times, I bet. Like, people will just be skipping and scrolling and whatever the fuck, doing their thing on the shorts and shit. And all of a sudden, they'll be like, what's this guy talking about? And they're like, yeah, would it be legally binding? Because I know you got, like, like terminally ill thing, clauses, shit like that, blah, blah, blah. But what about, like, if one of the friends just has it in the will and has a contract signed for one of the friends that they can legally do that or something? Would that be legal? Which, obviously, chances are, no. I don't think so. It'd be kind of fun to, speculate about what would happen if it was, though, just because, like, there'd be some motherfuckers that would just whack a motherfucker for it and just, like, pretend to, like, create it, like, some sort of, like, will or some shit, being like, oh, no, he wanted it. She wanted it. No, it's okay. Because, there would be some fucking bastards, weird-ass motherfuckers that'd be doing shit like that. Because, there are just people out there that are just, like, looking for any excuse to just say fuck it and just, like, whack a person or just, like, shoot somebody. Like, there are just some people just looking for an excuse. I was watching, like, a Sterling video, IDK Sterling, on this recent case that actually just happened earlier in August. And it was, like, over this dude shooting his dad because, like, basically his dad's like, your feet smell, you need to take a shower, bro. And then it ended up becoming a whole big family fight or some shit, and escalate to the point where one of them where the dad threatens, like, oh, I'll shoot you, and blah, blah, blah. And then the son is like, well, bet, bitch, and grabbed his and just blopped him right in the face. So it's just like, and it's like, dude, that motherfucker's just looking for an excuse to just shoot his pops, bro. You know what I mean? It's like, cause what the fuck? Like, I mean, that dude was built, like, just looking for any fucking excuse. And I guess for him, it was because of smelly feet, which I, don't blame his dad for. So, fuck that weird dude. Feet smell, and you're just like, you know what? Fuck you, I'm going to shoot you now. Chinese have farts now. Very enlightful and exciting information there, sir. I also kind of wonder why I'm on you sometimes. I do wonder about that, that's huh? I held a Holy Blue Dream cannabis. Is it even possible to find the OG strains these days? Like, weed's just named into so many different fucking things. It's just like nutty, dude. Like, I figured that like a lot of the OG strains, you know, unless they're like, you know, I don't know, like grown in like, you know, some old hipster ladies or hipster uncles, like, you know, garden or some shit. Like, I figured a lot of the OG strains just eventually just kind of got crossbred into other shit. Maybe store near me has it. Well, I guess at least Oregonian bud tenders like to crossbreed a bunch of shit. Because frankly, when it comes to like, you know, the OG cell strains, like the last one I found would be Gorilla Glue #4 or like Girl Scout cookies. You know, those are like the last two, and those are like months ago. So it's like, I mean, it's like they're not really around as much anymore. Now it's like Frosted Flakes, fucking Whoopi Goldberg, you know, fucking Pussy Bush Kush or some shit. You know what I mean? It's just some wild ass names and shit, bro. I mean, I will admit, some of them names do kind of go hard. Like, I'll, like, you know, find something that's just like ivermectin tranquilizer kush. I'm just like, whoa, bro. I'm just like, oh, shit. Look at the nugs and the buds. I'm just like, whoa. Fuck, get some of that shit and just blows your brain in oblivion. It's just like, yo, bro. So sometimes, you know, I mean, the names could go hard, and, you know, and hey, whoever bred that bitches, you know, they made it work. I want $15 for a cannabis infused drink. Yeah, they tend to be more expensive. Though, come to fucking Oregon, bro, dude. Like, I mean, dude, breweries are having like CBD infused fucking like ciders and IPAs and shit like that up here. Okay, like, so honestly, you know, at least especially CBD infused shit, it's cheap as fuck out here, dude. I won't say cheap as fuck, but in comparison to like $15, yeah. I could find like CBD infused fucking like, you know, tall cans in my fucking store. And it's like, damn, son. So, I mean, all in all, it's like, at least for CBD infused stuff, you know, that's kind of a dime a dozen around here. But at least with like THC type of shit, you'll have to go to dispensaries for those. And those are a little bit more expensive, but obviously they're meant to kind of give you a high. But I've tried them before. I mean, they're all right, but they're not really worth it. I mean, CBD infused like ciders and beers and stuff, like that shit's actually kind of worth it a little bit. Like, yeah, but for anything else, At least the good thing about the CBD ciders and stuff like that is that at least, you know, that is, you know, you should be able to find that anywhere. Even in illegal states, because, you know, all they have to do is just use hemp, you know, and there's CBD in hemp. I also kind of find it funny that the original Constitution is written on hemp paper. And it took like all these fucking years to finally make it pretty much like legal again. Not all of it, not all the way. But, you know, at least like some chunks and bits of it. Like, I think it was wasn't it because of like some farming legislation or some shit that they were pushing and they passed it, but they unintentionally left something out where they didn't add a caveat, you know, to the like, you know, like to, you know, whether like hemp is allowed with that or not, and it was. So that pretty much by proxy made like hemp products specifically legal, you know, and that includes things with CBD in it, which basically at least by proxy made CBD nationally illegal, despite, you know, the fucking rest of marijuana being illegal. It's just it's fucking retarded, dude. They need to just really legalize it already. It's so stupid. Get a haircut, hippie. No, and at least, hey, I'll own it. I am a hippie. But get a haircut? No. The. Damn, gotta love the randos that pop in here sometimes. Get a haircut. I like how, like, 15 minutes ago, someone's like, hey, nice mullet, bro. And this guy's like, fucking hippie, get a haircut. The duality, dude. The duality of man right there, bro. One person's compliment what they thought was a mullet, which it's not. But, and the other one's just like, ugh, get a haircut. Which, in order to get a mullet, I would have to get a haircut, but that'll be the shit up front. I'll be leaving the stuff in that hang and fly in the back, though. So, well, if it's the same person, well, I didn't ban the other guy, so, like, and as far as I have been doing these, I don't think I banned anyone or timed anyone out. So, there's no reason for someone to have a sock account and come back on a sock account. But whatever. Maybe it is. Maybe they got banned on someone else's live, and now they're going through the shorts again in their sock account. That could be it. So now they have to change personality a little bit, in accordance with the sock account. I mean, there could be a possibility for that. So I don't know what this other dude was, trying to say here. It's really just a Z. I'm just assuming that might be a bot. Because I know there are those fucking bots and shit that will, like, peruse through and stuff. I don't know what the fuck that's all about, though. Like, you notice that, like, I mean, every now and then you'll notice, like, it happens on the comment sections a lot where you'll get, like, some generic, like, booty or some, generic sexy chick that's probably, some random picture that's stolen off Instagram or whatever the fuck. And then it's just like, oh, your content is just so thought-provoking, whatever the fuck. You'll find, like, some similar shit. It's a little different. But you find similar shit, on, like, live chats and shit, too. But usually I think, and I think I kind of narrowed it down, I think it's just, like, random shit like that. Where it's just, like, a one-letter post, and that's it. And it's, like, literally just a profile list thing with just random letters, usually, or just something random. At least get a haircut hippie guy, like, I can imagine that person's a real person just skibbity scrolling, which that I don't get either. It's like, you pop on for half a second, you're like, oh, long hair, what a hippie, bleh. And then you just move on. It's like, what the fuck is that about? It's like, what the fuck? What the fuck is that all about? Happens to Paul, too. Like, when I watch him live, the same shit happens. You know what? How much I would have bet he came from a Paul stream? And now he's, like, scrolling the short lives, and now he saw another hippie with long hair and shit with the similar vibe that Paul's doing right now, because I guarantee he's still fucking streaming right now. Oh, my God. I think I might have nailed it. Because I am kind of, like, the only other kind of, like, low-key chill stoner bro, doing these outside of Paul. So, at least as far as I can tell, it's either fucking weirdos doing some, like, workout shit, walking around their town, gambling, like they're at the casino recording themselves playing a game, some shit like that. It's just so random. Like, it'll be some random stuff. If you scroll long enough, it'll be just people playing video games, doing Let's Plays and shit. I mean, it's just straight random shit. I once saw a fucking YouTube short stream of someone literally just some sexy bitch just sleeping. Literally just asleep. I don't know if she was, like, doing a live and then she just fell asleep, or she's doing a sleep stream. I don't fucking know what she was doing, but she was asleep the entire time. I honestly was curious. I was like, is she going to wake up or something? So I just, was just watching the chat for, like, a few minutes and just kind of kept, looking back to see if she would do anything. She was just straight up in nappy poo time, dude. She was in, like, one little sheep, two little sheep world, bro. Like, she was asleep. And she wasn't just, like, sprawled out anywhere, like she was in her bed. So it's like, I think it was just a sleep stream. It's like, yeah, I'm gonna be sleeping, so good night, everybody. Which I don't get that. There's some things about, like, the content hustle grind that I just don't understand sometimes. I'm not gonna lie. Because there's the stripping granny arc. There's like the arc of the stripping grannies. There's actually a few of them. There's like some fucking Laotian stripping granny, and then there's like some like Creole fucking New Orleans, fucking black lady doing it at one point. Like, I mean, and then there's like some fucking dude, there was like at least 3 or 4 of them. It actually was kind of fucking like, what the hell, bro? It was a little shocking. I haven't seen them in a long time, so maybe YouTube finally cracked down on that shit, but it's just like, bruh, I was like, what the fuck? And dude, there was like hundreds of people watching that shit, though. This is the thing. A lot of these, these things I'm kind of like, what the fuck, bro, about? There's like hundreds of people watching this shit. It's like, what? Like, what? I don't understand it. Like, that's the one thing I don't get. Like, is it like some skibbity thing or some shit? Or is it like, hey, like it's a chat-based thing and just hang out the chat while you just look at someone sleeping or some shit? I don't know. Paul probably told him off. Probably did. Paul was kind of like, doing a little back and forth. Like, he was being chill, but then I think some skibbities rolled in there. In fact, now that I think about it, I think that Tupu guy was definitely one of the, Steven too, I think. I've seen him in the chats as well. So, yeah, you know what? I think it might actually be right. Because, like, I mean, it's kind of niche. Like, these little weird vertical YouTube short things, not everyone on YouTube broadly, I think, as content creators has really caught on with it. So I think that's even why, like, I will, like, get bumps and views and shit and just get randos popping in here. There's not a lot of people doing it. I mean, there are, but they're all, like, literally, like, nobody people, for the most part. They're not, like, fucking, like, these bigger YouTube channel names. Like, you'll find their shorts, but not them doing, the live versions of these. So this is kind of legit a little niche, strangely enough. I think they definitely need to kind of, like, fix some quirks and shit. Because my friend Logan apparently popped in a few times last night and, like, just straight couldn't chat. And I was like, I know why, and you probably, didn't know how to, fix that issue. Because, it's still quirky, but I think it's just because not enough, I guess, big names are using them or whatever, then it's not really seen as a big deal, I guess. But I don't know. I mean, honestly, like on average, I'll get like 10 to 15-ish views usually, like on my, streams doing them horizontally. But now they've gone up to like 35 to like 40-ish, give or take for some of them. So I'm just like, fuck it, I'll just do this for a little bit. Just at least as an experiment, just kind of see, how long I can kind of be in this algo. Which, all things considered, there's probably a good chance that it'll probably be there for a while. Because there'll be, like, slower periods even for Paul when he's doing these type of streams. But then all of a sudden, the next stream, will have, like, 300 fucking people watching him, So it's like, I mean, it's one of those things where it's like, it's kind of a hustle grind thing, Dude bro, stripping old people, cooking, gaming, nature, kittens, puppies, a group of cloaked figures in the middle of a forest with a stone chest. Someone's tied to it, screaming in pain. Painting. Wait, what was that last one? Painting. Painting is cool. Dude, for real, bro. It really do be like that sometimes. Dude, because when I was checking out Paul's Little Live earlier, like I think he's still doing it. But when I kind of scrolled really quick, because I always know there's some weird shit sometimes. Dude, there was literally a dude, bro, going, and like shirtless, sweating, being like, yeah, man, you gotta go on the hustle grind, bro. Oh, fuck. And just like stretching off and obviously just showing off his sweaty body and shit. I'm just like, dude, I don't know if you think you're doing this for the bitches, but bro, you're doing the most unironically gayest fucking thing I've seen on YouTube Shorts thus far. I don't know if that guy's live anymore, but that dude was straight up like working the fuck out, but just showing his shit off a little bit. I was like, dude, I don't think you realize how unironically gay this is. Do a horror stream type deal. Dude, that would be pretty fucking cool. Just have their like phone set up in the middle of what looks like an altar. and just have someone like, you know, make it look like they're sacrificing people and shit like that and doing all that crazy shit. Dude, that would get a lot of views. That right there will get some views, bro. Frankly, I like, oh, dude, I don't know, like, if you see this often. I kind of do, because like it happens a lot in YouTube short, you know, lives and stuff. But there will be people that'll be like, you know, proselytizers, being like, Jesus is king, and doing that type of shit. I'm actually surprised I haven't gotten one of those yet, at least so far. You know, but it's one of those things where it's just like, I mean, you know, like, you know that they're going to, you know, sound Jericho's horn for all the crazy prophetizers, and they're all going to show up on that stream, be like, repent in Jesus' name. The Lord does not approve, blah, blah, blah. You're all going to hell and shit like that. Like, you know, them motherfuckers are going to swarm that fucking thing, and it's just going to boost it in the algorithm. More people are going to see it, and that bitch is going to have like a few thousand views on the YouTube Shorts algo. And have some like spooky, crazy, like, you know, ominous, like pagan music where it's like, and then you just got like some heavy fog and shit, you know, fucking drums going like boom, 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 you know, just some shit like that. And everyone's wearing like goat skulls and like fucking lamb skull, fucking, you know, like, and wolf skulls, just random animal skulls, you know, on the cloaking their entire faces with these like crazy fucking robes and shit like that. We need to say, like, if we're doing it, you gotta go all out with this shit. To the point where it might like, it might get the channel / like whoever's doing it, it will probably get them banned. Or at least suspended, you know, from doing shit like that. Because I want it to look kind of genuine, too. I mean, not enough to where it looks real, but at least enough to where people, I think, who are too stupid to realize it are going to think, this is real! We don't need to, you know, like last night going to Cannibal Holocaust test, or need to testify Congress to be like, no, it was... The Congress of YouTube would be like, no, it was all fake and it was entertainment. Camera cuts back to POV of someone who's being dragged away. Their legs are covered in blood. Yeah, and just like, you know, use Halloween style blood and shit. There you go. I mean, hey, the season's coming up anyway, right? So it'd be perfect. And, you know, also make sure it's recorded on top of me in live stream. So then, let's say it does get banned, just make a bunch of different accounts and just re-upload it as a live. So people think it's just happening again. I think at a certain point, people will catch on and realize, oh, it's just the same recording from the initial time. But, hey, I'm okay with that. Oh, I just saw another idea. What if, like, there's, like, some cool trickery, you know, or some shit we could do, where it's just, like, you know, maybe, you know, like, some stereotypical, like, you know, shorts compilation stream or something. And then, like, every 5 minutes for, like, 30 seconds or some shit, it tunes into that. Like, I think the initial live stream idea of the entire thing should be a thing. But once the big one hits, then we just make a bunch of, like, short bot accounts or whatever and just do, like, and just have, like, you know, random variations of, like, you know, compilation short videos or whatever the fuck or some shit. And then just have them just kind of run on, like, a 6-hour reel or some shit as a live. And then... every 5 minutes, 10 minutes, something like that, or even make it like sporadic too. Make it like, so maybe it's not every, you know, 5 minutes on the dot type of shit. Make it like 5 minutes, 4 minutes, 8 minutes, 2 minutes, 11 minutes, you know, make it kind of spread out randomly and shit. Because then it adds like, you know, oh shit, it just happened 5 minutes ago. Is it going to happen again? Oh shit, it happened again. And then it's like 2 minutes later, it's like, okay, maybe it won't happen in another 5 minutes. Oh fuck, it's there again. And then they get amped up. They're like, it's going to happen again, isn't it? And it's like for 11 minutes, they're like, what the fuck? Maybe that was it. Boom, Nancy again. Leader should wear a simple mask. It should be white with no mouth, 2 eye holes, and a black star imprinted on it. There should also be, I feel like there should almost be like an unholy like halo around somehow, like, on top of the head too. Like some weird, like, oh. What if it was a crown of thorns, bro? A halo of thorns. Oh, shit. Oh, now I'm starting to think of some commentary that could be used here, too. Because what if the leader of this, little sacrificial shit that's going on is like, Jesus coming back and saying, get thee hence, you blasphemers of my name, and he's just sacrificing them. Bro. What if it's actually what if it actually ends up being a warning for the Christians? Because like I said earlier, them bitches are gonna be flocking that shit, doing, repent, blah blah blah, and all this bullshit. They're going to. So maybe give them a little extra scare. A little extra how dare thee blaspheme kind of bullshit, even though they are the blasphemers. Granted, Jesus probably look at me like second or third in line and be like, you still kind of suck. So, it'd be cool if you could somehow splice pre-recorder footage as you're doing a live stream. I think there is a way to do that. Because I'm pretty sure, like DFF, for example, when they're live streaming, they also are recording at the same time. So I think there's a way to do that. I guess at that point, then we'd probably just need like a little laptop setup or some shit instead of just, regular phone. Because I think, doing it as a phone would be different. But if done as like, for like a regular, like, streaming set platform, at least on a laptop setting or some shit, that could work. Because then, as we like take the highlights of what's going on, we can use those as like the pre-recorded reels, for the extra weird spooky shit, that I was talking about. So, should the cult leader say some message? Yes, actually, now I just thought about it. If I'm kind of one to take this weird like inverse Jesus kind of message thing or whatever the fuck, that the cult leader should be like, you have blasphemed against thy name, or some shit, and just start fucking like going at him, bro. Because I know there's like that like demon religious kind of like horror that you show me sometimes. Yeah, like it should be incorporated with that a little bit too. Like, what if it flashes like one of those like red like bloody eyed Jesus fucking art pieces or some shit you've shown me in the past, and just like just flashes it really quick. It would be cool if you could somehow. I heard that. I don't know why, but the name for this should be Unredeemed, dude. The Unredeemed. That it should just literally just call the stream when it goes live for the first time. Just literally call it the Unredeemed. That's it. Nothing else. Let the algorithm just take its course, and people who show up are probably gonna start sharing and spreading it around. Because or at least just let the algo boost it up. Cause that shit, dude, I'm kind of honestly thinking, should I get the boys together and maybe do something like this? Be a little short nose, but I think it could probably make it work. I guess not really that short notice. I actually do have a way to highlight this. Hold on, let me save it. Because there's I've noticed this on YouTube lives that you can do a highlight where it'll save the last 5 minutes. I think you could change the setting on that. Maybe it could be like the last 10 minutes, something like that. I actually haven't checked, but I just realized that was a feature. So I'm like, oh wait a minute, here, let me just use that as a way to save it. Because even if it didn't catch the whole conversation, it at least caught enough of it. No, dude, if you want to put the fear in the evil Joker right, it needs to show him the scariest thing imaginable. He lifts the mask underneath it and it's unfathomable horror. It's historically accurate, not white Jesus. Let's just find a Palestinian man then. just find a Palestinian man, that, like a Palestinian American. There we go. We'll just have to like make sure we find one that's like of shorter stature, I guess, because people back in that day were than people today. Like I would have literally been considered a fucking giant to, the ancient like, Semitic like Sumerian peoples and shit like that. The Mesopotamians probably literally thought like, Northern European type of peoples, if they even met, were probably literal giants. Because I definitely would be seen as like some lengthy giant man. Which honestly, all things considered, when it comes to like, when you read, some of the different sagas, that have been saved and shit, when it comes to like, Viking style sagas and shit, even amongst them, like there were fucking like giants of dudes, like these fucking literal like fucking units of men, basically, that were like that was stand like a good head or two taller than the average like a Germanic or Viking guy. And even then a lot of them on average are like 5, 9, 10, 11, 12, 6, 1, and 2 and shit, my height, and shit, like at least on the higher end of the average, so it's just like if there's people who are like 7'2" and shit where they would like straight like it be that tall and stuff, it's like fuck bruh. Even for me that would be a giant. And even around here, dude, there are some tall ass like TJ 7'2", 7'3" ass motherfuckers that are around here, and bro, dude, like I think they're like giants in some ways. I'm just like I'm like, whoa, hi. Then this. Okay, wow. Okay, one, fuck you, and two, is there a resemblance? Like, is there really a resemblance, motherfucker? Like, okay. I'll give you that, but what the fuck? Do I look like a registered Republican? What the fuck? Oh my god, that caught me off guard, but okay. Obviously one of the randos that popped in. Hey, I mean, hey, if you know me long enough, you'll know that, frankly, like, obviously I'm not the dude because I talked about it literally the fucking day of it happening. And also, like, frankly, probably would have a different take about it than most people do. Actually, one that I think people don't really talk about when it comes to that, which is, the fact that there's still like a problem with, people's severe mental health and shit that could be a threat to themselves or others that have just such easy fucking access to firearms and shit. That seems to be like a really major numero uno problem right now. Like, fuck the politics side of that shit. I mean, it's just like there is legit just like, a problem when it comes to the accessibility of that type of shit. I don't give a fuck if, like, you and your Uncle Jim want to go out and do target shooting and shit. Just be responsible and be safe for that shit and don't act like a fucking moron, you know what I mean? That's pretty simple, simple as. Hate the guns. Well, I'm not inherently saying that it's the guns. I'm saying it's an accessibility, that certain people have because, they aren't able to, handle themselves, whether for their own safety or for other people's safety. And sometimes it's not even due to mental health factors. Sometimes they're just too fucking stupid to handle them because they're just not safe with them. I mean, a lot of the fucking, gun compilation videos of, like, Uncle Fudd, like, looking down the barrel, like, why did this jam? And nearly getting his head shot off. It's like, that motherfucker probably shouldn't be owning a gun because, like, too stupid to the point nearly had a Darwin Award. And how many times does that happen on a daily basis in this fucking country? That's because one picture of the shooter, he has the hairstyle similar to yours, but other than that, I don't see much of a resemblance. Long hair, thus I'm, I look like a guy. Certain people, and who would that be? Because like what I mean by certain people, I mean like just on a general basis. Because frankly, I mean, I have friends that, you know, I may or may want to take shooting, but I don't necessarily trust them to be safe with them because I don't know if they would be. But I do have friends that I do take shooting with, and they're fine. They're safe, responsible, you know, and I make sure to instill those fucking rules of safety when it comes to firearm safety in them and ingrain it in their fucking head, and never been an issue. Though I know that I have some people in my life that I know that probably wouldn't be able to respect those fucking rules, and thus I will never ever give them a gun or let them have one. I mean, it's like, you know, if obviously we can prohibit people from driving because they might be too stupid to be able to handle a vehicle, then we should be able to treat something that should be seen as just as serious as a tool and as a piece, you know, of equipment, you know, in the same way. Like, I mean, you know, obviously we have like certain elements when it comes to like licensing or accessibility restrictions, when it comes to like permits, things like that, when it comes to different things. And a lot of it's just to make sure that you know your shit. It's like, hey, this law says you know your shit, you're not stupid. I mean, in a lot of cases, it's pretty much what it means. You can still have your guns, and honestly, have as many as you fucking want, as long as you got a license, and just renew it, you know, and keep it up to date, and there you go. I don't give a fuck at that point. I might be a leftist, but I'm a pro-firearm leftist. Because, I mean, hey, you know, I like my pew-pews. I like having fun with them. They're fun. I mean, they can be, but they have to be treated fucking seriously, too. Called you a hippie, should have told you that you look like a guy, like that guy to get you to cut your hair. Yeah, because honestly, I'm not gonna lie, the whole like you look like the guy show like that is the one thing that's maybe really heavily considering just cutting a lot of this right now. I'm not gonna lie. I was laughing at it because I'd never heard that before, but I'm just like, damn though. Damn it. It's like, and the thing is, I keep my shit nice. He probably has like some greasy ass fucking like unkept shit. I put some fucking nice, beautiful coconut conditioner up this thing. I keep my mane in check, okay? You know what I mean? Do you ever shower? Oh my god, I'm literally just talking about this, and it's like, you shower, bro? Yeah, I'm just talking about this. Yes, because I keep this shit in check. I like every other day I shower, and every other, you know, day with that, you know, wash that beautiful mane. Because you're not supposed to, like, you know, fucking wash, you know, your hair literally every time you shower. That actually damages it. And that's why it looks nice and shiny and voluptuous. Look like a homeless vet. Bro, have you seen homeless vets? Because I actually know a few, and they don't look like me. Yes. Well, I know some too, and they sure shit, you know, don't look like me. Watch one. Well, that's not, it's, again, do you like know what a fucking homeless person looks like? Because I've known a few of them. A lot of my friends have been homeless. A lot of my coworkers have. One of them being a vet that I'm talking about. And he served in the fucking Iraq War, like the fucking 03 invasion too, by the way. Living in a shack. This is a garage. You know, things where a vehicle can be stored in and stuff like that. What did we give you an ouster? Because like a shack. Yeah, because you know garages totally don't look like this. I do have a shack, but I don't live in it. I store shit in it. It's a storage shack. But do I know vehicles? Yeah, because we have a driveway. It's called a driveway. You know, I live in suburbia, right? Like, I mean, you know, I live like, it's like you realize that the land is owned. I mean, you think like every young buck, you know, that does these things is just like, you know, doesn't have like, you know, some element of social mobility. Bitch about my work, because work's shitty, but doesn't mean I, you know, don't have other ideas lined up, or, you know, I ain't, you know, afraid to fucking, you know, put my ass to work and shit. In fact, I honestly love that. Yeah, I love putting my ass to work. But, you know, I just want to, you know, be in a workplace that actually appreciates that shit. My fucking workplace sure shit don't. You don't even know what that word means. Which word? I've said many words. I've heard it from other dumbass Democrats such as yourself, bro. Man, you evidently don't really know much about myself, dude, because like I am not a Democrat. I don't vote for them. I don't like Kamala Harris. I ain't vote for a fucking cop. I mean, like, you know, someone who's, you know, arrested parents because their kids are truant and shit, like, was one of the few, like the Attorney General that literally tried to prohibit fucking marijuana legalization, and also didn't want to ban prison labor because, oh, we need to make sure that, you know, we don't lose our value of cheap labor based off of this kind of bullshit. Like, fucker. Careful ignoring my if more people think you look like Thomas Gross, it might just end up like theater tacos of Jackie Jones. Like BLM. What, Black Lives Matter? I suppose. I mean, I partook in those protests back in 2020. A lot of them, actually. I actually used to stream a lot of them on Twitch before Twitch banned my ass due to a lot of the violence and stuff. Funny enough, due to those protests. Which is kind of ironic because plenty of other channels, you know, on Twitch are doing the same fucking thing. And we're totally fine, so don't know what the fuck that was all about, but whatever. But, you know, at least, you know, when it comes to the general idea that, like, I mean, not just only black folk, but, like, you know, folks in poverty, especially when it comes to police brutality and, you know, and a lot of police oppression. Actually, I had a story I've been putting a pin on because I haven't told it yet. This happened last night, actually, because this is actually tied in, you know, to when it comes to this whole police thing. Because, I mean, a lot of, you know, the whole root of, like, BLM is, you know, major advocacy against, you know, police brutality and police aggression and shit. But here, let me just tell you this fucking story because this happened last night. Like, shit you not. So after I wrapped up my stream last night with when Logan showed up, one of my buddies, his brother, you know, was you know, like, is a major fucking like alcoholic who has been recovering, but apparently that night didn't know about it, but apparently he was been fucking drinking off and on that night. And you know, while we all went to go play some pool and stuff, you know, everything ended up being chill. So whatever, this, you know, that shit doesn't really matter. It's just kind of more prelude to establish like how the shit led up. So we all go back in my spot for a little bit because we're initially the idea was go rafting today, and you know, and I was gonna come back, gather my shit. You know, we were gonna hang out for a little bit, just kind of, you know, smoke a bowl or two before we headed out and shit. And I don't know what the fuck his deal was, but my friend's brother fucking kind of stormed off and left, all into tuss and shit, and all angry about something and shit. I don't fucking know what, to be honest. And eventually, my friend, you know, called him up, being like, "What the hell's going on?" and shit. And eventually, just handed the phone to me. And so I'm talking to him for probably at least like 10 minutes, and gotten to the point where it's like calm down. But about like 6-ish minutes into the conversation, he mentions, "Oh, there's like a cop car has been following me," and blah blah blah. And I'm just like, "Well, they asking you anything or whatever?" There's like, and he's like, "Well, no, you're just telling me to stay safe and just stay on the sidewalk and blah blah blah." I'm like, "All right, well, as long as just, you know, just keep it down and just stay chill and be on the sidewalk, should be fine." But eventually, I guess it wasn't enough for the fucking pig, because they decided to pull him over and stop him and be like, and try to be like, "Hey, we need to ask you some questions." And he asks, like, you know, "What for?" "I'm just walking home right now." And he's like, "Well, you're being detained, and, you know, so can you come over here?" And I'm overhearing this conversation. I can't even overhear the cop a little bit. And I hear him ask, like, "Am I being detained?" And it's like, "Well, come over here and we'll talk about that." That was the fucking answer that the cop gave him. And which is a cop-out answer and is a bullshit answer. Because, like, if it's not a yes or a no, and if it's a yes, what am I being detained for is the follow-up question. And if no, you know, then, you know, if I'm not being detained, then I'm going to go on my merry way and continue to go home. And because it wasn't a yes, it was pretty much, for the most part, a no. Let's talk about it, you know, so I could detain you for no fucking reason, basically. And, you know, essentially said, "All right, well, since I'm not given a reason as to why I'm being detained, I'm presuming I'm not being detained, so I'm going to, continue to go home on my way. Have a good night. And I overheard that as, I was walking off. And then, and I'm just kind of like, all, kind of partly like being mostly quiet, being like, well, hey, I mean, just be chill with it. Don't get, angry or loud about it. Like, I know it's because I'm even getting mad at they're fucking annoying your ass. I was even asking, it's like, do you know what street you're on or whatever? Because I was thinking maybe we might have to like kind of swing by to be like, hey, what the fuck? So, which didn't happen, but, it's like eventually they just like, I overhear them, it's like, oh, now they're grabbing me and whatever. And then the phone falls on the ground. I was like, wait, what? And then I hear these cops, straight up like on top of him, just like fucking cuffing him up and shit, detaining him. So now that when I realized that was going on, I was like, yo, you fuck pigs, what the fuck is the reason why he's being detained? Like, I'm his friend, calm him down while he's going home. Like, what the hell's going on? No fucking answer kind of shit. And eventually some, cop picks it up, some lady cop or whatever. And, she is like, oh, hi. I said, who's this? I'm just like, I'm, so-and-so's friend. I would like to know what the fuck is going on as to why he's being detained, because, he was a little mad earlier because, for some reason, I don't know what for, but I would like to know why he's being detained because, outside of, being upset from earlier, before he left, he was fine for the night, so what the hell's, like the issue here? And I don't know if she decided to like muffle the fucking mic or something, but she was basically like she sounded like a fucking little tiny little pixie fairy that's like, speaking in a microphone that's 10 feet away. It's just like I could barely hear her ass. And the very little I am picking up was something about like obstructing an officer or obstructing an official admin or some shit like that, which eventually the charge, quote unquote, is a fake charge of, oh, well, hey, it's obstruction of an official admin, which is not even a real fucking charge. It means fuck all. So the fucking, the PD, fucking gaffle him up and then transfer him to the fucking sheriff's and keeps his fucking backpack. So that's fucking shit stored, over at the police station, in our fucking town. While his ass was gaffled up in the fucking county jail out in fucking Oregon City because the sheriff's picked his ass up. So when my friend and his brother, realized this shit, we're all like, well, fuck, this kind of puts a dent and went foobar mode when it comes to potentially going rafting, which didn't happen because of this shit. And it's like, and these fucking, cops, decide to like gaffle his ass up. And, and just like, frankly, just wanted to justify their budget and justify their fucking quotas because he wasn't doing nothing wrong. He was on the sidewalk, walking home. Granted, being mad about different shit, and I was letting him, I was listening to him. It's like, hey, and, if honestly just trying to reason with them to be chill because, it's like, hey, I get it. Just, I know that you're upset. Just don't be loud because I know the cops are around stuff. And then, of course, in foresight, some cops showed up, so. But the thing is, it's like the problem with it is that at the same time, it's kind of a weird catch-22 about it. One, fuck the cops, but two, fuck him too. Like, I mean, because he does this to himself. Like, because he straight up did. I mean, he wants that, attention because he's honestly kind of like, only thinks about himself of the woes me kind of bullshit and wants to kind of make himself like that when it comes to Logan's brother. And I was even kind of overhearing the conversation before he drove off to go to fucking Oregon City to pick his ass up. He was, talking with his mom, and I was overhearing that, and a lot of what I just said was what they were saying. So I'm just kind of parroting, what they say about this shit, because it's like, and honestly, it really is the case. I mean, the cops should have, just fucked off, in the first place, too. And not have given them that shit, but they don't give a fuck. They just like to jerk their authority around because that's all they care about. And I guess to bring it full circle, that's the reason why I don't like the fucking cops. And, I stand in solidarity with different movements that, are, standing against that shit. Because fuck the cops. They've always been used against, the, average person. They've always been used against, the working class. When it came to, like, union strikes back in, like, the 1880s, 1890s, the Battle of Blair Mountain, for fuck's sake. A lot of these places, you want to know the first people were to break that shit up? The cops. Cops ain't your fucking friend, and they never will be. Like, I mean, you know how much fucking insane corruption and insane shit goes on when it comes to police? Do I know another fun thing about my fucking local police department? David McVeigh, fuck this rat bag piece of shit. He was the cop here, in our police department. He's in prison now. Wanna know why? Because he was caught, giving sexual favors or forcing and coercing women and minors, by the way, like 16, 17-year-olds, coercing them and forcing them to suck them and blow them off or have sex with them to get out of traffic tickets and shit like that. And what really caught him was the fact he was doing that with minors too. Like, he was doing it for quite a while, and the Good Old Boys Club kept it nice and under wraps for a long time until they realized that minors were involved. That's when he got busted. So, I don't give a fuck, say his name. Fuck that piece of shit. Say something on Threads you have to see. Is it about that guy that literally looks like Stevie and Scotty Kirk blended into one weird hybrid? Because I did see that. And bruh, whoa. It's just like a whoa moment, dude. Because dude, it looks like Scotty, but with Stevie's hair. No, that was Twitter. Oh, was that Twitter? Oh. Well, then I have not seen that yet. If you want to like resend it to me and I can click it. Man, I kind of like that Glockonitis and didn't even really like, stick around for the fucking story. It's like, you want like to hear a story or not? Because I mean, I'm definitely ain't no fucking like, like I ain't your average, DB create. You know what I mean? It's like I don't. There is like, like there's something about like, frankly, especially a lot more of a conservative mindset where it feels like we're just kind of this immediate like, happens with my dad a lot. It'd be like, hey, let me explain, like, something, just like sit for a second. Then he'll just literally mumble some random bullshit and wander off. And it's just like, what, do you not want to at least like, hearing perspective or something? I don't get it. At least with leftists, I feel like there's more of like ability of like at least willing to hear it out. Not even just lefties, but even like liberals and like, kind of even centrist, center right leaning people. But I don't know, like I notice a lot, even like when I'm like, hanging out at the bar with like when I'm talking to people that might be conservative leaning Republicans, like, like there is like a productivity, honestly, I think, when it comes to having like political talk. But at a certain point, it's like if they feel like they're being too challenged, I don't even know if it's like being like challenged or what. I don't know. But it's like at a certain point, they're like, this is too much for me. So, and just kind of like, brush it off and just leave. It's like, I thought we were having a fruitful conversation, but it's like as soon as there's any like divergence, it's like, does confirm what I think, so It's like, I don't know, like, because especially as me as a lefty, like if I was like, if I was like that to pretty much fucking anything, like when it comes to politics, dude, I wouldn't even be doing this for fuck's sake. Like, I mean, I'll be hanging out in some fucking like, local communist chapter's fucking like weird smoky stoner fucking dungeon or some shit, contemplating theory or whatever the fuck, bro. You know what I mean? Like, I'd be a fucking dweeb, bro. Like, it's I don't know. Like, I mean, you can't just fucking like wall off everything. Cause shit, I mean, I got my set, core values and views and principles of shit. I mean, I sure shouldn't can divulge away from it. I mean, at least, to a certain degree. I mean, because the foundation's set. But I mean, to be applicable to like, different aspects about different shit, despite that, it's totally fine. Honestly, I kind of find those conversations to be kind of fun sometimes because there can be legit like some overlap or maybe even some commonality that can be found even with that. It's like, so I just don't get this weird immediate turn off just because you hear like a buzzword or like, maybe like, just a framing of perspective or story or something. I mean, I might, even for me, like if I'm hearing like, I just wish that, we, like, said a lot of this radical shit that just goes on, kind of, if there's saying shit, I'll kind of be like, okay, what do you mean? Like, just let them elaborate and I'll just listen. Do it all the time, and it's like, once I at least, listen to what they're saying, I could be like, okay, there is definitely maybe like a certain bend of perspective where I'm not going to agree with whatsoever, but after letting them kind of meander enough, I kind of realized there's things here to where I think they realize that, we would probably actually agree upon and realize that this whole big thing that they don't like, the buzzwords that I would be immediately turned off from potentially, is bullshit. It's a red herring. And frankly, a lot of this fucking, like radical, like echo chamberistic, like, social, issue shit, is a major play in this, where it's just like, like where you don't want it's not even really adult. It's almost like, conditioned to think like, oh, I don't need to hear that other, take because they're just, X, Y, or Z or whatever. Like to around, they'll look at me, it's like, oh, it's just a dumb woke Democrat or whatever the fuck, even though I'm not even close to a Democrat. Literally the only, I guess I should say this slight correction. I'm only Democrat by name in the sense that I have to register as one because I'm in a closed primary state, but blame the fucking, electoral process in the state being closed primary. It's fucking stupid. I hate closed primary states, and I'm a reformist to make a more open primary and more democratic in that way. To actually make our vote actually worth a little more of a fuck. And give a little bit more, electoral mobility, for voters if they decide they want to vote, something other than what they're registered as. Because California's got it like that, for example, and plenty of other states do too. But either way, it's just like, I mean, it's just one of those things where it's like, I mean, I really do feel like there's way more commonality and agreement amongst like the average, working person in this country, and and people want to hyperfixate on like, oh, they're just a woke commie dem, or oh, they're just a MAGA Nazi fuck, or whatever. It's like, like by the way, I know I saw that. I'm just getting this little point out, really quick before I check that out really quick, because I'm cooking a little bit. Let chef cook for a sec. Because like with Glock 90, it's like I could tell he's definitely kind of a MAGA Republican guy. But whatever. I'm not holding it against him. I'm letting him chill here. I mean, frankly, I had like a tiny back of my mind to be like, fuck this guy. There was a part of me where I was just like, But I was like, nah, I'm not going to do that. So whatever, I mean, there was like a little part of me and I was like, eh. But I was like, no. There's a reason why I stuck around a few streams here, like, because obviously there's some commonality, with, some positions and views here. I mean, obviously the vibe's chill enough for everyone to, come by and hang out and stuff, so it's doing something right? Here, I'll check this little thingamaboop out because I know that. Ridiculous. Got to a point where like nothing wanted to fucking load up, so I had to restart the damn thing. Yeah, at least I can get back on this bitch. Fucking hell, bro. Hey. All I want to do is just look at a fucking link. Right? Yeah, a minute. But whatever. We got it working. Was a little annoying though. Was it not allowed? I did see it. I mean, but it just wouldn't load up until I restarted the fucking phone, and and then I was able to see it. But it was a sweet potato pie. Some delicious scrumptious delicious. It was even more weird. It didn't even send. I don't even think it sent the fucking like older thing. So it's like, does this kind of look like so and so to you? Like. So I don't even think it loaded that shit out. I was like, bro, what the fuck? So I just restarted the damn thing, and everything ended up just being fine. So whatever. Also, I've been listening lately about real demonic possessions. At one point, it got real funny because it was one story of a dude. I think I was driving around a car who claimed to have been in a crash. Instantly, I thought drunk driver, which was sort of confirmed. He was pretty sure it was mentioned him being drinker later. Well, yeah, his demonic possession was the liquor. I am the liquor, Randy. Listen, listen, Randy. I am the liquor. I am the liquor, Randy. Propane. You gotta start the flame. Propane. Gotta start the game. Dude, I miss John Dunsworth. Dude, he was such a fucking great actor. And a dope fucking, Family Guy, too, ironically. Like, he had his own little YouTube channel for, the longest time, and his family keeps up just because, when he wasn't doing acting on the Trailer Park Boys and shit, he was straight up, fucking doing, landscape work on their, property and shit, and making this, badass fucking little cave for his, grandkids and shit. Dude, he's such a fucking badass guy. And ran as a fucking politician, too, as progressive, in his local, county, I think, or local province or some shit. Didn't win, but I think got, third place. It's always some shit like that. After mentioning that the person was possessed, they literally reported to a freaking crystal meth user. Ah, there it is. Yep. That's literally, the key factor when it comes to a lot of these fucking, demon possessions. What drug they done? Because I'll answer pretty much all the questions on whether demonic possession is real or not. If they don't, ask me if they've been diagnosed with anything. Close the door. Wasn't it?
But this one open, that Zuka keeps closing, and then the other one you close that you leave open.
Ain't my fault Zukov is sneaking out of him. Let's find some random shit.
Check something out here. I'm gonna need your help. That's what I'm doing with my smoke.
So it's some shit where it's like, oh, I heard that. Man, that fucking phone a lovely, just so lovely. Did a little disruption. I wonder if it'll still be popping up for the algorithm though. Probably. I think give it enough time, and probably get itself back in the routine a little bit. Remember one video we reacted on Nuggets where that should be an exorcism where they had one guy asking his family he was really into sick shit. Then TJ was matching this guy being related, and it's matching being related to this guy and hearing this. I think I know what you're talking about. I mean, because, dude, yeah, there are some, wild exorcism videos that I've seen before on the internet where it's just fucking nutty, dude. Where it just, it would be some straight up some shit, I love to eat the babies of the undead, or whatever. Usually some silly shit like that, but then it'll be I masturbate to the idea of your flesh burning. And shit like that. And they're saying that about their 11-year-old sister, and they're fucking 22 or some shit, and you're like, what the fuck? You're like, whoa, dude. I miss the meat out of our flesh, burning and singeing from our bones. Watch, someone out of context is going to pop in and be like, what the fuck? What was that? Damon? His cousin is like, yes, the demons. The demons made a touch toddlers. And you're like, what the fuck? You know, honestly, what's kind of funny is that there is a little bit of this. You know, honestly, the reason why I kind of like, you know, blend with this one really well is because when it comes to my Uncle Mike, like with how my family views him, they honestly, unironically probably view him this way. I know my grandma, bless her heart, being like 90 fucking something years old and, you know, and all that shit, like she literally thinks he's demonically possessed. Literally. He is possessed. He is a possession of the devil. This is literally a quote she said to me once. So, I've definitely heard some interesting, wild shit about him. Some of that I take with a grain of salt, but honestly, you know, a lot of shit that I know for a fact is kind of a repeat behavioral thing of him. You know, I can definitely say for a fact that, yeah, there's truth to that. You fucking say I'm a child abuser, you fucking piece of shit. Dude, I mean, at least the last time I heard about this guy, like, he's apparently kind of gone way extra cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. But that was, like, about a year ago or so. So I really don't know what the fuck, you know, like, you know, how deep he is and shit now. But I imagine he's probably gone fucking extra cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. But none of us want nothing to do with them, so we don't give a fuck. And frankly, I don't care to give a, like, the only fuck I'm going to give is, you know, the fuck out of a fucking 7.62 by 39 or something. I'm just, to be fucking honest, like, Castle Doctrine, bitch. Like, I ain't fucking letting it be on his property. Knowing that motherfucker, you probably illegally has got a gun or two. Or a lot. What if Glock is your uncle? Nah. I mean, nah. He wouldn't do that. He wouldn't really be a, like, he's a Machiavellian fuck, but he, you know, he ain't like that. He would honestly be too stupid and use, like, an actual YouTube channel, which would probably just be his name. Not too tech savvy. Not, well, yeah, not that I'm aware of. Maybe he's got, like, he's more of a handyman more so than an electrician, like, tech savvy dude. Example A, this house's electrical wiring and shit that he set up is rickety as fuck. Like, I mean, and honestly, due to it, for some reason or another, because, like, a lot of lights start flickering on the latter half of this house over here where, like, the bedrooms are and shit, you know, just for safety measures, those circuits are off. Like, so my bedroom has just basically just been darkness. Which honestly I don't really mind, but whatever. I mean, because in the morning, like, the sun beams into my window and lights the fucking room up pretty well anyway, so whatever. It's not a big deal to me. But it's a little annoying when I want to take a shizzle or maybe like a, you know, a shower and it's like pitch fucking black. You know, like, that is a little like, what the fuck? But the wiring's bunk, bro. Like, it's like, so who knows? Like, that, you know, if we just said fuck it, who knows? That could have caused, like, you know, the entire place to burn down to the ground. Who fucking knows? Yeah, I can't, well, I could, but there ain't charging or ain't going to be plugged into anything that's having a power outlet. Unless I put an extendo cord all the way down the hall into my room. From on this side of the house. If I got, like, a lot of fuck you, like, if I got a lot of, like, fuck you extendo cords, I could do that. But yeah, that sucks. Yeah, I mean, you know what, like, hold on. I mean, my dad's in here anyway. I want to honestly know the exact reason for the shit. So, what's the real main reason as to why, like, half the fucking house is turned off anyway? I figured that, but like,
No, but I think this man might be good. That's why I want that I've been thinking. I don't know where, but that's what the problem is. Concept that keeps doing going from one line to the other.
So it has to do with the circuits over here,
Or the wiring in the house.
and knowing the psycho fuck that built this house. Which that's kind of the reason why it's been partly brought up, because I mean that was kind of funny enough talking about him a little bit.
When you're talking about him, just like I was just thinking about this.
I know, kind of fun. Oh my god, kind of funny how that works. We were both kind of thinking about the same motherfucker this entire time.
You know what the problem is? Because it's happened before. It might be a cross wire or something that occasionally, gets crossed or gets wired to the wrong.
So it sounds like it might be a cross wiring issue, that apparently has happened before. So it seems like it, can at least be temporarily fixed, it seems like. But I think it's a testament to how much, my uncle's fucking wiring is, and being an electrical guy validates his retardedness. Because he's a dumb fuck when it comes to that shit. Because frankly, I mean, that ain't the first example of some wiring, some shit like that being bunk as fuck here. Dude, honestly, like, there's a power outlet in my room that I don't use because that shit is almost straight up melted. And there was a few times where I'm like, why am I smelling this mild, like, weird plasticky burnt smell? And because it's like on the corner where I put my bed and stuff at, I looked over and it was just like the charger and stuff was fine, but the actual like outlet cover thing was starting to kind of melt. And I just immediately unplugged the damn thing and it went like a mild little baby spark. And I was like, well, never using that ever again. I never did. Because, yeah. Huh? It's still one nice. I also imagine you have this crazy long extension cord running into your room, and then your dad tied up in the middle of the night trips over it. Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if that happens.
Household breakers are 20 amps, and the one to a room is 30. So for some reason.
Oh my god, he's going into fucking like hardcore like analysis mode on this shit. Oh my god, bro. How he remembers the specific detailed information about like the schematics of this fucking place is beyond me, dude. I mean, to be fair, he probably might have had a helping hand of building the fucking place, but I'm not too sure. I just know that we lived over there for a little bit, literally right next door. I mean, I got my roots, solidly placed in multiple parts of this fine land here. Born in Portland, fucking, raised, a little bit, right next door to where I was going to be officially raised in, and bada bing, bada boom. I ever remember what, like, the fucking little outlet, lot was before, my work was there. There used to be, like, this little pet store, like I think there was, like, a little rental place and a few other things. And now there's, like, a little gym, but there used to be a KFC there. And, like, it was like a totally different world, honestly, back in like those late 90s, early 2000s days. The very little that I can't remember of it. Because like shit was just way different. I remember like, some of my earliest memories going to that little pet store because we had a lizard. I had a pet lizard and we would get crickets and food, for that little guy, going over there. But I always went to where they had all these kitties and all these, cats that were available for adoption. And there was this one friendly ass cat that I desperately was like, can we please? But we already had a cat, Scooter. And they're like, no, we already have one. I'm just like, like, cause, it was such a friendly kitty. I mean, and my justification was, and I think there was a time where they're thinking, I think my parents were thinking like, for a time, like, well, Scooter could probably have a friend and blah, 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 and all that, because I was thinking, but Scooter needs a friend. He needs a friend. So, I mean, I figured, at a certain point, maybe they would have been coerced back to that, but no, I wasn't cute enough for it, apparently. I was an ugly larva little fuck, and they couldn't accept it. I didn't have enough of a high barter skill yet. And by the way, no, you're not an asshole for thinking that. Because frankly, my dad's done that to himself so many times that I kind of honestly do kind of laugh at it a little bit. Dude, it's like one time where I was like, it was actually, I think it was the day I was getting this phone, the new phone. Like, I was waiting for him, and I kind of overheard him outside, but I was like hearing him going, fuck, doing like that. And I was like, what the fuck is this deal? Because I'm sitting there in the car just kind of waiting for a minute. I'm just like, okay, I could kind of see him, but is he on the ground? And I got up, and I got out of the car, and I went over there, and yeah, he was. And I was like, and I just kind of sat there like, how did this happen, bro? And apparently, like, he tripped on like a fucking pipe or some shit. And I did see a little pipe that was kind of like kicked over a little bit and shit. And I was like, well, I don't know how that happened, but okay, I guess that did. Except for the worst when you see and you have a connection, but your parents refuse to take it home. Yeah, dude. I mean, well, we already had I had a connection with Scooter too, but it was like one of those things where my little kid me was like, you need a friend. but friend though. And the fuck thing is, we eventually did do that for this little, she ended up being a cunt and a bitch. But, because eventually she got a nickname Miss Hiss. But we called her little baby kitty because she was like this little runt of a kitten. And we're about to go for a deep fucking freeze, and, it was on the weather. And there's just this little kitten just hanging out in our porch. And it was obviously not necessarily old enough to be separated from the mama, but old enough to go explore and shit. So I'm assuming it was the runt of the litter and it got abandoned. And and obviously we were all like, okay, we can't let this kitty be out there.
She was grown up, just really small.
Well, no, by this point she was still a little one. Like, she might have been, I mean, granted, now that I think about it, she might have been old enough to be on her own, but she was the runt of the litter. Yeah, she was the runt of the litter, so, and obviously she just was going to freeze to death out there. So all three of us were like, all right, well, let's try to get her in. And we realized, she was a skittish fuck. And we figured, well, we could probably tame her and warm her up. That never ever happened ever in her life. And, but, we took her in, and eventually she became...
The cat that lived inside.
yeah, pretty much. I mean, the thing is, she was, for what she was, though, she did, she was a good mama. She, honestly, there's, if you got her in a good mood, there were times where, I swear to God, she'll just let you walk up, pet her. Very rare, but there was, she would have, a weird, oh, okay, or she'll just be taking a nap, and she just doesn't care enough to freak out and run off. There's been I remember this one time where her and Scooter were, sleeping side by side. I just, I was watching TV. I think I was actually in the master bedroom. I just, casually went over there and just started petting her head, and she just kind of stretched off a little bit and just and just kind of went back to sleep. I don't think, and she didn't open her eyes, so I don't think she realized I was straight petting her. She just, this feels good, and just went back to sleep basically. And I was doing that for 5 or 10 minutes, and then I went back, sat down, and she was just she kind of readjusted and slept again a little bit. And then I tried to do it again, but she kind of woke up when like saw me coming over. That's when she freaked out and ran off. But I do distinctly to this day remember that because I was like fucking 6 or 7 years old. This one, like, maybe a year or two into having her, so, and it was one of the rare few times where I was able to go up to her and kind of pet her a little bit. There was a few times where she'll be like awake and be like, what the fuck you doing? And I'll be able to like give her a few pets and stuff before she jumps off and runs. But I mean, every now and then she'll tolerate it at least enough. And then there was that one time I just said where she didn't realize but loved it.
Yeah, so go back to your room and make sure everything's off or unplugged or whatever.
Well, that would basically just be my well, nothing's plugged in, so, and I'm pretty sure the light switch is off already. But I guess I'll double check really quick. Fair, yeah, I'll just double check really quick here. I'll be right back, just to make sure. That are safe and sorry. What am I wearing? I thought I had it over here. Oh, there it is. I got a nice little portable light. Wait, hold on. Boom. Got that, and then boom, bro. It's pretty dope. Okay. I know. I just want to see. I'm needed for just another moment. But he's going to be squeezed by. Actually, hold on. I'm grabbing the burr because I don't want that to accidentally spill or some shit. Figure to move this out of the way. And move this out of the way. And all that.
Alrighty, turn on power, make sure nothing blows up. You never know about this place. If I can hit over there.
Am I still needed back there?
Is there power?
Yeah, yeah. I don't know if that little boob light has, a light that's good anymore, though.
The what light?
The boob light in your room? The ceiling boob light? Alright, well, I guess that solves things, I guess. Oh. Well, there's power in my room and the bathroom and all that shit. So, okay, whatever. That was a temporary short little moment of electrical, like, tomfoolery, I guess. Though his room and the hallway is still off, but those, I guess, are the main circuits are a little weird and ficka-fucky. So, that's always great, but at least everything else works. That's okay. Doggle. Little pop-up. Little pop-up Main Street boy. Little pop-up Main Street boy. I like how he's still using a little flashlight.
Problem is the one circuit will move forward to the other.
So basically, hire an electrician to figure shit out that actually is qualified to know what the fuck they're doing.
I have a basic knowledge of electrician and a little bit of everything.
I'd rather make sure a qualified person handles this.
Why is our bedroom, or the master bedroom, on a separate circuit than the rest of the house, and how come it's more than the rest of the house? Probably because it kept blowing, and put in a larger circuit breaker. Because it's leading
Yeah, instead of fixing the issue properly, he decides to just I'll just make it bigger and fatter and let the problem get worse over time.
This fuse keeps blowing. I was thinking of, that's basically what a circuit breaker is, like a fuse. If
Yeah.
Power's going through, it'll click off. This one keeps turning off. Well, I'll put it in a bigger one, so if too much power goes in, it'll handle more power.
It's just fucking ridiculous. Thing is, I mean,
I was thinking about that, so I'm just like, wait a second. And I started thinking just when I turned the breakers off, we just okay, one handles like the north end of the house, everything, the front living room, and your bedroom and the bathroom and the hall.
Okay. I know that.
Which is bigger than the one that handles just master bedroom. It's like I need more power for one room.
Fuck, do I look like an expert on any of this bullshit right here?
I'm not an expert, but I I know just enough to be able to troubleshoot some things. I should have figured that out a while back.
Cat in hindsight, at it again.
That one's not flickering at the moment. I'm going to plug the shot back in. This one started going and had the shot back plugged in. That's trying to vacuum in the room.
You know what, yeah, we're going to fuck around with these. Run that sass. Whoa.
By the time I could run the cord across the hall and vacuum up. Fucking please! Other than that.
Jesus fuck Christ. Damn your phone. People cannot see the glory of the food I share. I know you share a lot of glorious food, but you know what? At least it could be for me. And we could bounce around all these fucking bubbles. We could fuck around these bitches.
Well, at least you have power.
Cheers to that. I like fucking around with these bubbles. Hey, top that bubble off. Yeah, that's right. Fucking bubbles. I wish you could have an ability to pop them. But you can't pop them. You just have to bump them around. Like, I can't pop... where is it? That one. I can't pop it. I can just smack them around. That's about it. Okay, you know I'm stoned when I'm just fucking with bubbles, dude. I'm fucking with them bubbles, bro. Yeah, that's right. Get them all out. Oh, no, there's one right here. There's one right here. Now there's a bunch of these bitches coming back. What the fuck? Dude, look at these, like, constellation of bubbles. Want to explore more savory side pumpkins this fall, and for that, I'm sending you a list of 25 savory pumpkin recipes for later viewing. Hell yeah, dude. Now we're just in party mode now. Stoned hype mode. Love my cheat days, but the day after my body goes in recovery mode. Does it go into recovery mode from these high-minded ideas? My brain's just in recovery mode from these high ideas. Are you having yourself a Reuben? That ever happened to you, like, after junk food binge? Yes. Oh, yeah. Dude, my gut, like, I love food, but my gut don't like the fact that I love food. Because I swear to God, it seems like, I mean, not always, but most mornings, the gut is just fucking gnarly, bro. I mean, I won't go into detail, obviously, but it just be some gnarly shit. So please eat some fruit and vegetables. And I'll be like, yeah, but it's going to be mixed in with some scrumptious dankness. Now, I don't want to hear no word about stomach. It's not even the stomach. The stomach is fine with it. But it's more or less like, you know, the rest of my gut. The intestinal, you know, stuff. You know what I'm saying? That's when shit gets funky. My intestines don't like what I have to serve. My stomach don't give a fuck. Like, it'll eat pretty much damn near anything. I mean, these days, I mean, I don't really give a fuck these nowadays. Like, I'll eat a lot of shit. But, man, dude. Ooh, doggies, back in the days. Okay, you know what? This is a little too tense. There we go. Doggo, what are you doing? What you doing, doggo? What you doing there, buddy? Little sleep boy. Now I can be like a cop and just have a light on you. Gonna eat some vegetables? Finally, after battering deep fried them. No! You mean yes? Yes. That'd be so delicious. So delicious and scrumptious. Delicious. You know what? I want to see if Rip or like Loginos are around, because Logan was mentioning about maybe doing like a round 2 of pool, just like him and I this time, just chilling. But I'm gonna see if maybe he'll pop in if I share this with him real quick. I know just the way to do it. The group chat, bitch. So here, give me one little memento. I want to see if I can get him in here. See what's going on. Left there in evenings. Actually, it does sound like it. I just kind of looked at the group chat after I sent my thing. Sounds like they were, going to be probably hanging out at Subwood. So I just, sent them, but I was just like, hey, if anyone wants to pop in and say what's up, or maybe I'll probably join them. Maybe. I don't know. It seems like it's up in the air at the moment. Actually, Rip City is actually responding to me right now in the group chat. Man, I sent the stream, so maybe you could pop in for half a second. Just tell me this. Motherfucker. What is he saying? No one's in Sylvia, hanging out in a few, but I don't think anyone else confirmed. Tyler's stopping in some Seattle, I think. Oh, yeah, Metal T's in Seattle because he's seen Earth, Wind, and Fire. I remember. Yeah, that's right. So he's out in Seattle, which, fuck yeah. Seeing that with his mama. Mama and son bonding time. We're going to be doing that tomorrow, too, myself. Maybe get a little sushi and, get a couple things worked out. Maybe play a card game or two with mama. At least for tomorrow. And at least after, maybe before or after, depending, I'll probably go check out the Fred Meyer strikes and shit like that. Maybe before, because then I could be like, hey, I was meaning to swing by and check this out and bring a pick a sign with me. But all in all, I think, we can all make it work out. Tomorrow will be a little busy day for me. Hello, Pop-Pop. Where are you going? He's butthurt. He's a little butthurt because I was hanging out with his brother and his sister. And those two were kind of competing for being lapdogs. Like, Jazzy and Vito, oh my god, dude. Vito, I love that little mutt. He's got so much more, verbal anxiety than Zukov does by a country mile. He'd be like, He'll literally do that every now and then. Be like, hey, come here, buddy. And he'll sit right in front of you, wagging his tail. And he'll go, please, can I be on your lap? And he will do that. And it's like, come on, buddy, come here. Because I think sometimes, he wants to do that with Logan, but he's like, no, down, So I think sometimes with that, which I could get it, sometimes they're not in the mood for cuddles. But, sometimes you want them cuddles, and so it's kind of like, a little pick and choose, that he has kind of battle in his head. It's like, can I be a cuddle monster for 30 minutes? Then after that, struggle to get out because I'm not that much of a cuddle freak now that I think about it. The Zukov is kind of the same, but nowhere near as bad. He'll hang out for a while, but eventually he'll all right, I want to stretch out and get the fuck out of here. He'll do shit like that. But he's just a little sweet boy. He's a little sweet boy, though, and he does like his little cuddles. In fact, honestly, he kind of forces it sometimes. Mostly in the morning when I'm trying to wake up. Actually, weirdly enough, I think it's kind of helped tame to my Neanderthal id when I wake up, because every time I turn over and it's just him just looking like a fucking little dumbass little dork, I'm just like, bro, I can't even bother being mad at that. I can't be mad at that. If anything, I just nab him. I'm just like, "Rrr. If you want snuggles, you're getting snuggles, motherfucker." Like, I'll just, like, nab him and just, like, pull him over and just, like, you know, roll over and shit with him. And he's just like, "Ah!" And starts struggling around, squirming around and wrestling and shit. That's, like, the one thing that he loves, you know, when it comes to playtime. He doesn't, like, really, like, chasing balls and stuff. He likes to kind of wrestle shit, gnaw on shit, tug of war stuff. He loves that stuff. So, like, I think his favorite thing to do is wrestle around. Because he just stretches those legs out, fucking like, does shit like that, squirms around, goes like, starts like rubbing his head like right all up in my, you know, hands and shit, because I'm like scratching his little nose, and he's like, does shit like that. He's just such a goof. He loves shit like that. And locked himself in the lunchroom. Wasn't even talking shit about you, doggo. Damn. What the hell, man? Goodness gracious. I guess someone else is updated or anything. So I guess there's a question mark on whether other people are going to that or not. Part of me is saying, and you know, why not? And fuck it. You know, him and I could chit chat and stuff like that. Because I think him and I got a little scuttlebutt that we could chat about and shit. I can ride my bike out there, ain't a big deal. I can swing by Sevy's, you know, grab another brewski or two, hang out with them and shit. You know, there's kind of, you know, part of me that's thinking, don't want to, like, you know, get swim shorts in action and fucking take a dive in there in the limit. But that just kind of depends if it's warm or cold. Nah. Thinking about it, but nah, I won't. I'll just chill. But I know Rift City isn't even really there. Actually, I thought it was honestly later than I thought. I thought it was like almost midnight, but it's only like 30 till. I guess I'll see what Logino has to say about things, because maybe he could just give me a ride. But, man, him and I had a fucking long night last night, man. Due to his fucking brother's shenanigans, bro. Like, oh my god. And honestly, I had it back in my mind that I thought my whiskey cokes were being, like, snuck away from a little bit, where I was just like, I know I, like, you know, take a nice good little sip out of these things, but it's like, I mean, why is this suddenly, like, halfway empty when I know I did not drink that much? It's like, Because, you know, they did a breathalyzer on him when, like, they did detain him, and he was at, like, a 0.2 legal limit, you know, instead of, like, the 0.08 or whatever. But they didn't charge him anything about that, you know, from what I was telling about the story from earlier, so obviously that ain't necessarily the case, right? Like, I mean, because if it was about that, they would have, you know, charged him with, you know, public intoxication, which would actually be a charge, but they didn't. So, and the only way that he did that was, like, he was sipping my shit and probably sneaking other people's drinks that they might have forgotten or left. I mean, straight up. Like, I mean, but I don't know. I'm just knowing how he is about shit. Chances are that's the case. Or probably had a beer or two in his bag. You know, because chances are he did. Probably ain't going to be there anymore when it gets picked up, because there's a strong, you know, chance that he cops confiscated it and probably either dumped it or kept it for themselves when they clocked off their shifts. Probably why they transferred, you know, his ass over to the sheriff's, you know, honestly, when it came to that shit. Mainly probably because of that. It's like, yeah, it's near the end of our night shift and stuff, so we don't want to have to deal with all the process bullshit, so can you deal with it? So they pawned it off to the fucking sheriffs to deal with. Which is kind of like, in this weird way, like some lazy, sleazy ass shit. But, dude, like, I mean, the Milwaukee PD are just like these like good old boys, just like kind of lazy town fucks and shit. You know, like, if they can help it, they will kind of like pawn their problems off to either the Clark sheriffs, which, I mean, fuck them too. They're also more notorious, so fuck the Milwaukee PD for pawning them off to, you know, motherfuckers that are worse about shit. And then fucking, like, you know, we'll basically just do traffic quota shit for the most part. You know, stop people late at night, be like, what you doing? Because that's happened to me before. Luckily, they will just leave me the fuck alone. But I let them know my rights. Like, hey, as long as I'm not being detained, you know, like, look, I'll cooperate for now, but I'm just walking home from the bar. I give you my basic, you know, line of what I'm doing for the night. That's all you're getting. Oh, you can I see ID? Just make sure, blah, blah, blah. It's like, you know, like I said, I know my rights, but here you go. I don't have to give this to you right now, but I'll do it just because, you know, I'll be cooperative. I'm just letting you know for the next time if, you know, you stop me for whatever reason, I'm going to say if I'm being detained for any reason, then what is that reason? If not, I'm just going to keep walking home and, you know, going home. You know, so have a good night there, bud. You know, but the first time I let him know, you know, then the second time it was a different guy, but I made sure to let him know too. It's like, hey, look, I know my fucking rights as a citizen here and shit. And both times it's because I was jaywalking. Even though it's not illegal in the state of Oregon or in the fucking county. Like, that ain't illegal in any way. So, and I ain't bothering nobody. I'm being quiet. I'm just walking my dog home. And I looked both ways. There ain't no goddamn cars. There ain't no fucking traffic at like goddamn 2 a.m. So who gives a shit? You know, it's like, if I was jaywalking at like the peak of traffic, that'd be one thing. You know, yeah, stop me and say, what the fuck you doing? Are you trying to get yourself killed kind of shit? I get that. But if it's late at night and there's not even a fucking car within like a half-mile radius and shit, then who gives a fuck? I mean, it's just stupid. Because they're just trying to find a reason to, like, you know, justify their fucking budget and quota. Because they're trying to think maybe, oh, he's coming home from the bar. Maybe he's drunk enough to start some shit. And if so, then I could detain him and then, you know, have him booked. And his dog straight to the pound. So, I mean, at least especially when it comes to shit like that, I always make sure I'm on my piece of fucking cues and shit, because there ain't no fucking way I'm going to let him take, you know, like, authority over my bullshit. Because the thing is, I ain't looking for fucking trouble. I mean, honestly, in a weird fucked way, that's kind of the difference between me and Logan's brother, is that, like, he kind of wants it so he can do the woes me bullshit, and it's, you know, don't take my word for it. Logan literally would go on for fucking hours for that shit. Like, if he was in here right now, he would just take over for, like, the next, like, 3 fucking hours talking about it. He wouldn't want to, but he could. You know, so it's just like, I mean, you know, it's one of those things where, especially to him, it really fucking matters, and I totally get it, because every time he's around, it's like when he's sober, he's fine, but there's always his back in the mind, it's like, when is that going to break? And last night was that fucking break, and it, you know, it ended up, you know, fucking costing a lot of fucking trust in his ass to the point where it's like, I think even my, you know, friend Logan's realized, like, what do I do? And I'm sitting here like, man, I'm still trying to process this shit, because, I mean, I got a different thing going on with my siblings, obviously, so I got really not much room to fucking, you know, to say outside, like, yeah, I had, like, a lot of awesome my brother in the past. We fought, you know, and shit, to the point it got physical, too, you know, so it's like, but, I mean, like, he's actually, at least for my brother, like, able to be more mature, and actually, it's like, he even reached out all the branch, you know, being like, yeah, and realize I'm a hothead and, you know, fuck up sometimes in that way, and want to try to mature from that, you know, because, and I'm like, hey, man, last like, dozen plus times I've hung out with him, talked with him and shit, it's all been great, so, you know, I'm like, but with this, it's a whole different ballgame. I mean, as an outsider, I can only say it's like, man, you just gotta cut the ties, honestly. Like, the next time this shit happens, don't fucking bail his ass out. He's gonna have to fucking, like, reap the seeds that he's fucking sowing for himself, because, like, eventually, this whole boy who cried wolf bullshit that he wants to do, you know, only can work so much. And I was kind of overhearing and eavesdropping a little bit on him and his mom's conversation a little bit about this when he was talking to her, and it's like, she kind of feels the same way. At least from what I can get at. It's like, I mean, and it's not even just me that feels this way. Their roommates, like a lot of the friend group of ours, like it's kind of, I think, to a point where like I think there's a fulcrum with this where it's like either he's forced to change or, which I don't think it's really possible at this point anymore. Dude's fucking 11 years older than me. He's like 30 fucking 8, and this is how he is. It's like, fuck, bro. It's like, holy shit. I mean, so at that rate, it's like, I mean, it's there. I mean, the whole idea you can't teach a dog, old dog new tricks. I mean, that's not entirely totally true, but with this case, I mean, there's kind of a reason why people say that sometimes, because motherfuckers like this. Because even when I first met, my friend Logan and shit, honestly, his brother was kind of the same way back then, a decade ago, way back then, as he is now. It's just worse. So it's just one of those things where, honestly, as blunt as it is, just gotta cut ties. That whole, like, family, like, blood stick in the water kind of shit, that only, like, I think there's, there could be some truth to it, but if, like, you got a family member that's, like, sucking that blood out of the water and shit, like he is, then you kind of got to cut that loose, you know what I mean? It's just one of those things where I ultimately do want the best for him, because what is weird is, like, he is a legit book smart, really interesting dude, like, because him and I will talk about different shit where those book smarts come out. Really great guy, really smart dude, like, legitimately in that way, but it's just that hardcore, like, mental illness of alcoholism, various different trauma in his life that just is amplified to this point of a really broken dude. I mean, like, it's sad, honestly. It's fucked. I mean, once you kind of break it down to brass tacks, I mean, as, take, the whole, like, cop story and shit and all this other, like, animosity about, whatever, his behavior and all this other shit. It's just, I mean, because think about this. How many stories are like this in this fucking country, all over in this, in this every fucking state, in every fucking, like, little small town, big, metropolitan city? How many of these fucking stories are out there, in some shades or different degrees? It's like, my friends ain't the only ones that fucking suffer this bullshit. There's a lot of people struggling. I got certain privileges for sure, and when it comes to, like, a lot of this trauma that people hold, I mean, even then, I got my own, but it's certainly not to the same degree as, like, some people have. And I definitely recognize it, but it's just like, fuck, man. It really shouldn't have to necessarily be a privilege. It should just be seen as, like, we all deserve this basic sense of being able to just, like, not have to worry about, that type of shit growing up, which is kind of, I guess, hard to say because, like, you can't really dictate what your life's going to look like when you're born or whatever, right? But it's like we can at least have, like, some sort of parameters and a system in place and, like, have, social upliftment, for parents, for, like, neighborhoods, and for communities and shit, and for families to, have at least somewhat of a comfortable, healthy, upbringing. And yeah, there's going to be stress, struggle, and shit like that still is going to happen. It's not like it just goes away, but the whole idea is just to minimize the shit. I mean, because I kind of grew up with a system that at least had the tiniest, like, basic foundation of that shit left, and even with my struggles and shit, I'm better off than a lot of my friends, in various different ways. And it fucking pisses me off. Not because of, like, like, I have it, but because they don't. And they don't even have, like, an opportunity to even get close to having that shit right now. At least now. I mean, depending on where you go in Oregon, there are some places to where you could get a plot of land, more in the rural country and stuff, like the foothills between Cascade Mountains and shit, out in the valley. There's different places and shit, but it's like, unless you're either, like, in just a plot of dirt and you just build shit up from there, which you're still paying a lot of money just because you have to do that too in the long run, or buying a place that's already there. I mean, either way, there's a lot of fuck you money there, and that social mobility is not as nowhere near as attainable. If anything, for a lot of people, they're basically just fucking locked out of it. That ain't gonna happen to a lot of people. You know, it's like I still have a chance for that fucking door, you know, for myself. You know, like it's already kind of, I'm already in the room basically, just because I could just, you know, invest heavily to retrofit this place and just stay here. You know, but I don't necessarily want that, but I definitely want to stay in the area because, you know, I got my roots here. I love, you know, I love this area that I live in, but it's just like, I mean, the social mobility just ain't there though. That's the problem. You know, and I because the only way really that it is there is if you do kind of have like this like friend group kind of thing, because like all of us have a very similar idea about like what we want to kind of establish for ourselves a little bit. And if we, you know, pitch all of our fucking money, like let's say I sold this place and we got like a huge chunk of land and shit, you know, that already has like a decent little farm, a little fixer upper maybe, but something, you know, that we can all pitch like, you know, like 2/3 of the fucking payment off or whatever, and just like kind of split the down payment, you know, or like split the fucking payments over time, you know, after that or some shit. I mean, like, it's like we have at least, you know, an ability of, you know, mobility in that way, an ability of mobility. Little tongue twister there, but you know, but it's just like, you know, it's like that's if we, you know, kind of stick together and just stay as a friend group, you know, once that time kind of comes, which I think it would still be that way. We've known like all of us have known each other for a long fucking time, for like, you know, for some of us at least 15 fucking years. So it's just like, I mean, I don't see why, you know, all of a sudden that shit would just, you know what I mean? So, I mean, if anything, I'd be totally fine with that because, you know, like, you know, hey, like having a couple of goats and a little garden and stuff like that, having more hands, you know, more people, especially, you know, like, you know, closest friends and stuff that you trust, you know, they can put the work in, all that shit. You know, like, I mean, you know, there ends up being kind of like, you know, in a sense, its own little like family in a way. And, you know, hey, if like eventually it comes to a time where maybe one or two of us, you know, get our own little spot that's nearby and hang out for the most part or whatever the fuck, maybe just, you know, be hired at that point, you know, maybe, or some shit. I mean, I don't know, like, at least there's still some sort of an opportunity of mobility, but I mean, how many people my fucking age could be talking this shit right now? Unless it's just literally fantasy shit. At least, you know, for me, I mean, it's still some dreams for sure, but and maybe some elements of it are a little fanciful, for, you know, granted, but at least there's still a fucking path somewhere out there where there's like a little light that could show that, you know, where I'm like, hey, I could be there. It's hard. It's a tough fucking road, but we all deserve to be able to see that little light. It shouldn't be a little light. It should be a big fucking beacon for everyone. It's like, hey, you have this opportunity. You have the social mobility to achieve whatever, you know, like at least the basic foundation of a simple dream, you know, whether it's, you know, like you got various ideas, like very complicated, like, you know, big passion dreams and shit, or just like the simple dream or whatever. It doesn't matter, but shit. There should at least be like some sort of an opportunity for that. And that just ain't there right now anymore. It's not all for naught, though. I mean, you know, because a lot of what I'm talking about, it's like, even people right now, you know, people can have like close knit friend groups and shit, where it's like, you know, like just, but a lot of it just takes out going out and talking to people, hanging out with people, going to shows, you know, going to different events, you know, like especially in, you know, local shows, especially in local areas and local venues and things. Because like I've been kind of acquainted with a lot of different people from like just the punk scene around here in Portland alone, just because I've seen them at shows over and over and over and over again in the past like year or so. And, you know, like they've kind of recognized me too. So I'm just like, hey, what's your name? And blah, blah, blah. I've seen you a lot, you know. You know, it's like we should get, you know, drink, you know, at, you know, one of the bars, you know, at the show sometime and blah, 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 you know. So, I mean, you know, just eventually, you know, establishment, you know, happens even if you don't immediately talk with these people, but you just kind of, but a lot of it's just because you'll start noticing that pattern. You're like, oh, they've been to a lot of these shows. There's a commonality here. Why don't I just hang out and talk with them? Because they already have their little, you know, clique and friend group. You know, there's going to be a lot of commonality already because we're going through the same shit. I mean, I met a lot of people, you know, like, and gotten acquainted with them in the local area just because of the punk scene, to be honest. And I've seen them, you know, like even outside of these venues. I'm just like, are you so-and-so? Are you from this band? Oh, shit. well, fuck. I'll be like, well, what's up? You know, it's like that's happened a lot, honestly, these days. But I just kind of blame my activeness and, you know, being in these shows and places. But, you know, like I said, it's just one of those things where, like, you know, I mean, to the root of it, I mean, those type of connections matter a lot. And I think it really is, you know, when it comes to this, you know, social mobility thing, it's just one of these adaptations, unfortunately, due to the given, like, system right now. But having, like, these connections and even being somewhat acquainted with people, if they like you enough to, like, you know, say, hey, you know, I got a spare room, you know, like, that I can offer for cheap or blah, 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 or whatever, like, that was a lot. Weirdly enough, I haven't even been offered that before. A couple weeks ago when I was hanging out at the bar, one of the buddies that I hang out there with sometimes, she was saying like, hey, I got a, you know, spare room and stuff. Are you like secured with housing and shit? And I told her, you know, the TLDR version of the story about my place. And she's like, oh, okay, cool. You know, and so you're good and all that. And I'm just like, you know, hey, like, you know, it's like, I know a lot of people my age, you know, struggle with that type of shit, so I totally get it. And she was like, you know, when she know that, she was like, well, I hope you didn't take offense to it or nothing. I'm like, no, honestly, because I mean, in a way, like, I'm not 100% sure about like what the long term's gonna look like, you know, with housing and stuff. But I mean, if like this place could be retrofit enough, I mean, I wouldn't mind staying here at least a little longer, just so I could maybe put my own money to kind of like fix it up a little more, and then maybe sell it. Maybe, you know, have it rented out. Maybe go land beer and stats, but I don't feel comfortable with that entirely. So, yeah. But I mean, I could rent out like a nice little like, you know, apartment with like, you know, some friends, or just room up with them, rent this place out. It's kind of use it to save money, and if needed, you know, if someone says, hey, sink broke, I'll just, you know, use that money to fix shit up. Sign a contract, deal with it. At least if I ever went that route, I'll at least be responsible and reasonable and a good person when it comes to being. If I'm gonna be a leech, I at least want to be a respectful benevolent one. But at least in the short term, I mean, I know this place is definitely going to be, you know, hella fixed up a lot. I mean, it's already kind of at least like a quarter of the way there right now. But I mean, a lot of the bigger fixings would pretty much make it about halfway there, especially with this electrical shit. That definitely will be a part of that. Because, I mean, good gravy, bro. I was starting to get a little like butthurt about like, why do I have no power in my room? I was starting to get like a little fucked about that, but now I think we figured out the specific circus about that shit. So now it's just like either replacing that shit, figuring out what the fuck is the root of the bullshit with the wiring situation. I don't fucking know. But it's obviously going to require some at least what my idea of fucking money would be. A couple grand maybe or some shit. Because we would have to like kind of like get through the walls a little bit to kind of figure out like, you know, what's what and shit and everything else. I love it. House ownership. That's the one thing about like, you know, the one of the partial cons is that like shit fucks up. Either hire someone or fix it yourself. It's like, and either way, it costs a lot of money.
You don't know how much money I've saved by fixing it myself.
You need to get like some like notebook, you know, jotted down, like a handyman book for me. You know, be like, yo, here's some basic, you know, shit, you know, or something. Because I know there's like some shit I know I could probably easily deal with, but if I had like, you know, because honestly, there's been times at work I've had to like kind of do the handyman shit sometimes, because I've done that, you know, like I've actually asked you, like, can I borrow this tool so I could fix something maybe at my work? I've done it before, so. I mean, honestly, I've learned shit, you know.
I've taken care of an apartment, you can't believe the shit I've seen.
Oh my God.
The people in apartments don't give a shit. Around here, you know, well, no matter where I lived, I always gave a shit. And usually in apartments, I'd fix it myself because I don't want the landlord or his handyman coming over and fixing it and getting all up in my stuff. You know?
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's just kind of, I don't know. And there's like kind of a pro and con to each because, like, if you could just call up the land baron or landlord and be like, hey, this thing's broken, and they could just, like, either come in themselves or repair it or fix it or replace it or just hire someone to do it. And you don't really have to worry about it because, I mean, your rent is paying into that basically. At least, you know, so it's one of those things where I think that's why maybe, like, people just, at least when it comes to apartments, probably don't give a shit because, I mean, it's owned by a real estate company. So obviously they could just hire a big company to clean it all out, refurbish it, and all this shit. And it's a part of the whole process. And, you know, like, so, I mean,
like the places I took care of, there's a couple of them, they're basically owned by my folks. But most of them were owned by somebody else, and they were, you know, my dad managed the properties, which was a real estate office and a bunch of apartments. I think they had like 2, maybe 3 places they owned themselves. You know, most landlords aren't corporations; they're just like somebody.
Well, honestly, these days they kind of are. I mean, because a lot of the problem with the housing market is that they are owned by a lot of real estate agencies and shit. Like, I mean, maybe that was at a point, and there are definitely like a lot of mom and pop like landlords that, you know, will have shit on Zillow and Airbnb and stuff, but I mean, they're more like kind of few and far in between, you know, and honestly, they're not really that much better anyway. And honestly, in some cases, can be kind of worse. I've heard some fucking horror stories about I mean, so. I mean, in a weird, I mean, there's like, I mean, honestly, the root of it is that landlords kind of suck, but I mean, like, some of them could just be fucking bad.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, I mean, I gotta, like, honestly tell you about, like, one of the guys I watched, because he was trying to move to Crescent City. He's literally had 6 months of, like, multiple different landlords at different contract attempts, all this sort of shit. Like, it's honestly it's legit, like, it could be made in a fucking movie, for fuck's sake. It was like an arc, like a whole, like, multi-month arc of just him getting, like, the first time, I think, was the landlord wanted to try to, you know, do triple deposit fee, you know, which is illegal in the state of California because you can only, you know, do a security deposit fee and shit like that, you know, as double the rent, not triple. So when he said, hey, you know, responded back, hey, you're kind of violating California law, just ghosted immediately, and no one said a fucking thing, you know, back to him or anything, even if they try to respond back, nothing, you know. And then the next time, it was some dude who, like, you know, basically said, oh, well, you know, hey, we'll, you know, look at your review and stuff like that. And then he came back a day later. It's like, well, I, you know, gave it to this other lady and, you know, and she, you know, who's like a real estate agent and blah, 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 or some shit like that. Then a third person literally just wanted to butt in his life in every fucking weird way. It's like, hey, so you're a podcaster and kind of like this Republican guy, huh? And he'd be like, well, no. And yeah, I used to do a podcast, but I'm like a trade union labor guy. You know, I'm not a Democrat nor a Republican, sir, kind of thing. It's like, oh, well, what does that mean? It's like, well, I just put blue collar worker politics first, you know, foremost than anything. It's like, oh, okay, I kind of like you, you know, blah, blah, blah. You know, yeah. But then he's like, oh, well, so you got pets, right? It's like, can you take some pictures of, like, you know, some places where the pets like to hang out a lot, you know, and blah, blah, blah. And, like, just started kind of, like, invading his privacy, which is also kind of illegal too. So this guy's doing some weird illegal shit just by an invasion of privacy fact, like trying to interweave his, you know, get his nose into his politics, into his lifestyle, all this other shit. It's like, and the thing is, like, this guy Paul, like, he's been a grade A10. He would literally be like the best 10 you would ever fucking want. Like, no problems, no issues, nothing. But, like, for some reason, like, every fucking landlord or, like, manager in this fucking, you know, town basically just wants to get all up in his ass or, like, try to fuck him in some way or another. And it's like, it's so weird. It's like, what in the fuck? And it's in Crescent City, too. It's in Northern California.
Yeah, no, California's flat.
Oh, yeah, but, I mean, Crescent City, apparently it's like some kind of Republican kind of, like rural country. And I looked it up too. It's one of those like old small town, well, California version of a small town, coastal town, basically. And
lots of California's rural, and the rural people don't like the politics there because it's all.
Honestly, I mean, I'm aware of it. I mean, because like the Cali guy I'm talking to, he was born and raised in Madera. I mean, and yeah, it was like it'd basically be just as like redneck and conservative as pretty much anywhere in fucking Missoula, or not Missoula, but fucking like Missouri, Texas, etc. Like, I mean, there wouldn't be much of a difference.
Real liberal.
I meant to say Missouri, but I tongue twisted Missoula in there. But you know what I meant.
That's like the liberal hippie outpost of Montana.
Sounds like my kind of place, to be honest.
Oh, I love it.
Little hippie outpost. Shit, a bunch of stoners there in Montana. Cool.
Yeah, lots of fun. The rich people there got rich by growing weed. You can go up in the hills and grow weed. No one knows what it's saying. Yeah, that's a funny chart deposit. No matter what, you had a set security deposit plus that.
Yeah, some places.
And then some places it's no pets, and some places you could have pets because he was managing it.
Yeah, and honestly, I mean, and the whole pet deposit, from what I've heard, like. Especially more mom pop stuff, if they don't really care themselves as much, like they'll be fine with it, or maybe have a small pet deposit. Like that one always, like usually there's always a pet deposit, but there are some people, mainly like people like mom pop, like landlords stuff, that'll be like, yeah, if you got a pet, whatever, kind of thing. But some of them are fucking nitpicky as fuck about shit like that, dude. And most people in this country own pets, so it's just like, I mean, why? Honestly, the whole pet deposit thing, I just think is kind of dumb because a lot of people in this country own pets, either cats or dogs or both. It's like, I mean,
there's some places like you can have a cat, but you can't have a dog.
I don't even get that because some dogs are the size of a cat and pretty much act like a cat. Or Zukov, even though he's not like a size of a cat, he acts like a cat.
Zukov's pretty chill. And then I've seen some cats that can shred a house like you wouldn't believe.
Yeah, baby kitty. Yeah. Yeah, she would be fucking nutty, dude.
And the biggest problem they had that my folks see was something with like a down payment or security deposit or there's something where if you paid more, you get in front of the guy that was in line first, or something to that effect.
Oh, so that's like almost like kind of some bribery shit. It's like, hey, if you pay me a little more, then fuck this more poor person that can't afford that. You get extra privilege to be in the line.
Yeah,
dude, fuck that.
If you're buying a house, but that's illegal. But people still did it, and I heard my mom and dad talking about that a lot.
Yeah, because because they expect tenants and people that are either buying or renting places like that to not know shit like that and just don't know their rights, And when you know your tenant rights and shit like that, then that's why I was saying from earlier, from like the TLDR Paul story, like when they were trying to pay triple deposit shit fees or whatever, like, and he pointed that out to them, it was a ghost. They ghosted them because they were breaking California law. So it's.
I think it's legal in most places, but if you're like have roommates, each roommate has to pay their own deposits, which is fucked.
Yeah, I think that is a little bullshit. I think if they're just tied onto the lease, they're just a part.
When he crashes the place,
then everyone suffers for it.
You don't get your deposit back because you trashed the place.
Yeah, it's a little fucked. That's why, having people signed onto a lease, when it comes to the main person renting the fucking place out makes more sense. And I think at least in the state of Oregon, that's how it works.
Or the big one was if you're buying a house, people would either like put down a larger deposit or pay in cash rather than take out a loan.
Yeah, like a full-on cash down payment.
Even though they're making payments, they don't have a loan, so it's just like, okay, I'll pay you out of my, savings account. They can't drain their whole savings all at once. They're just like, okay.
Well, no shit. I mean, there's a payment plan that's involved with it. Yeah.
I'll just pay on the payment plan.
I mean, that's a mortgage payment, basically. I mean, that's just what a mortgage payment is.
I don't have a mortgage.
Well, if you're buying a house with a down payment and paying off, like the paying off a house that you buy and own, that's mortgage, isn't it?
No, the mortgage is a loan on the house.
Oh, okay.
Like my dad got.
Okay, gotcha.
The guy that wanted to take a mortgage out on this place.
So I guess technically yes, but via the bank.
I don't need all these
because of a loan.
Questions. I don't have the time. I don't have the. I got too much to do. Fuck you. I'll just pay cash. That's what we did. So the mortgage on this place is, well, not a mortgage, but basically, my dad bought the place, and we're supposed to be paying on it, but with Krista, you were just born, and I was barely scrounging by.
As we all are, still to this day, and it ain't gotten better.
True.
Despite who's running shit, because both these fucks, want to fuck all of us.
I don't need to be great or popular or rich or anything like that. I just want to live and
be comfortable.
Comfortable life.
I mean, that's why.
That's all I want.
I mean, say what you want about whatever other fucking political shit I say. I mean. Well, say whatever you want about whatever political shit I have to say. I mean, that's really what the root of my shit comes from. It's like everyone just deserves the right to be, comfortable and have like some basic living for themselves. And at least that's a basic standard. Like we should have like the entitled right to be able to live that way. Because I mean, no one should have to like scrounge around or like they're like a little rat looking for a little scrum of cheese or whatever the fuck, It's like
Roddy Rat.
Mickey and Rodney, yeah, both of these little fuckers. Actually, I don't know if they're in here anymore. I haven't heard their rummagings around. I hear a lot of them outside, but not really in here anymore. I think they finally fucked off. I think they left.
I sprayed the fuck out of this place the other day with that.
Oh, that stuff. Well, then maybe that was it. Because I mean, maybe they finally left. Because I haven't heard these little fuckers in here in a while. Either that or one of them died. And the other one's like, oh shit, he died. Leave. Ah. I don't know. I know I witnessed at least, one of them leaving. So I know one of them for sure left, but.
I think the key is to get the outside of the two doors. I did that once.
Hey, why is he fucking with shit back there again? Bro, what the oh my god. Bruh. What is he doing back there? Goodness gracious. Oh, here. Lokino says he ain't coming through. All that at least shows that, it might just be me and Stefano Rinos, which actually really enough that might be okay. I might just ask him if how long he's gonna be planning on staying there, because I might dictate actually, whether I go there. Actually, I could probably ask real quick. Here, I think I have a way to reply via this way. Yes, I think I do. Yes, I do. All right, here, give me a sec. Hold on, just give me a sec. I'm gonna look a little awkward, being all. You're just looking like a little Reddit. Like fucking doing like a little bird tap and all shit. So but.
it's easy to. Most of the wiring in the house is pretty easy, you know, it's just like part A goes into part B. Well, I know she did use like the solid
There we
wire,
go.
but you get the one that's a whole bunch of little ones braided together. You get like one of those little pieces sticking out.
Huh?
Fuck you up.
Huh? I have legit no idea what he was just saying there. To be honest, man, going Boomhauer sometimes, man. He does some Boomhauer shit like that, where he's just like, oh yes, yeah. It just kind of goes off about something. And I'm just like, I have now just tuned in like a third of the way into whatever the fuck you're saying. I don't want to ask because, like, if I do, you're just gonna repeat and go even longer about it. So I'm just gonna sit here confused, being like, huh? Because like, bleh. It's like, bleh. And where the fuck did the lighter go? Oh, there it is. Yeah, let's see if he has a little response. Not yet. Willful. Willful. I just realized I got some text from Mamas. What the hell was she even saying? What? Because I just like half glanced at it and I think she said something about me being mad at her. Like, what? What's she saying? Oh, I got rid of this. Oh, okay. No, never mind. It's not bad. She's mad because her phone got fucked up, apparently. How did she fuck her phone up? How do you do that? What'd you do to fuck your phone up, Mom? Mom, how'd you do that? Bruh. How did she fuck it up? Like, it's, oh my god. I don't even get that one. What, she like drop it and it like fell on like an edge of something and just shattered the screen? That's alright. I guess I'll find out tomorrow. I'm gonna visit her now, so I guess I'll find out. But bruh, how do you fuck your phone up? It's understandable for me to fuck my phone up, which hopefully this one doesn't. But like, I mean, for her to fuck her phone up, how'd she do that shit? How does that even work? It's like, bruh. Damn, mama. Damn, mama. What the hell? What type of tomfoolery shenanigans are you getting into, mama? And sometimes you just gotta worry about your mamas. Because, like, what type of shenanigans does she get into to where she just drops that shit? How's that even possible? How'll she even do that? It's like, bruh. Rip said ever respond back? Nope. Not even a notification yet. I pretty much like give it until like maybe he responds back, you know, because then that might dictate whether I decide to maybe join in on the adventures or not. Maybe not. But Lord. But here, I'll take a little pee break real quick. Release a little salamander. Let him leak out for a second. Be right back. Blah, blah, blah.
You pop up on Stretchy Boy. Hello, buddy. Usually time.
I know they'll help with the rap because I know they accelerate. Because honestly, we were doing it right for a while. Just as long as I kept the stuff up with the dabs, like we were having issues. Well, there's no reason to leave. I think I just. I think he was gonna keep saying something to me, but I'm just like, nah, I'm coming back in here. Ooh.
You know, police stuff on your basketball, which I didn't see much. There's a lot of mine because Curly's in the room all the time. Not now. You know, I was just making a comparison between the floors.
My friend Ripsy was saying that we can at least try to raffle on next Monday, which I know I have a day off that weekend. Because the weekends moving forward are Monday and Tuesdays now, which more opportunities to hang out with the boys. Which I think that would be a perfect opportunity in this situation. So I'm hoping maybe that at least for sure can happen. But Ripsy never answered if he was like, down or not. It's like, or not down or not, but I like how long he's staying there. It's like, come on, bro. That dictates what I do here, sir. And come on, fucking. The message is still like, we're trying to send it. Come on, motherfucker. Send the message. It ain't that hard. Is this seriously still just like buffering on that message? Damn. It'll send when it sends. Fuck it. But you motherfuckers been off of a quad in this, chatteronies. What do you think of me? My pops are fucking, holding up this whole thing. It's like, nah. Nah, sir. It's not how shit works. Well, it's kind of forced upon, when he, happens to show up, but every now and then he, will do his own thing. But just saying now, it's just like, been all quiet in this son of a bitch. You know what? Actually, I got the good ultimatum here. I'm just gonna, just call Rip City right the fuck and be like, oi. How long I plan on being there? Because would you mind being a little extendo if I were to show by yes? Because I bet that'll convince him. Because he hasn't said anything about that, and I'm just like, you know what? I want some damn confirmations. So I'll just hit his ass up directly. I'll just do that shit. And conveniently enough, got my nice little bone loaded up and ready to go. Then I can ask him and be like, oi, how's that adventure out in the adventures of the Sellwoods? Because, like, I might be down for it. I'm still down for it. So, hopping over the whip and let's get it. Oh, come on. Don't be clogged, you fucking piece of shit. This old motherfucker. God damn it. Yeah. It's not be clapped. Yeah. Get over here, little bitch. There we go. That sure should unclog it. It's foiled my plans. No. Boo. There we go. Now that should fix the potatoes. Anyway, I'll call Rip City up. See if he's still hanging out down there. And all that shit. He said he'd arrive by midnight, and it's barely after midnight, so I'm assuming he's going to be hanging out there for a little minute, so I'm going to convince him to stay down there a little longer. But anyway, I'll just peace out for now. And see y'all on the next one, so toodaloo.